What's going on, Tammy?
Look at you joining at 6:59. I'm so impressed.
You know what I mean?
6:59.
That's impressive, right?
That means that means I'm gonna start joining at like 6:58. Pushing it back.
I'm trying to.
And everyone else is showing up on time or early, I should say.
See, I'm trying to.
Let's get this group jumping in. I love it. It's like all my favorite people.
I'm trying to get better at it. That's my first attempt is getting the Clubhouse on time.
Getting the Clubhouse on time. You got that whole setup that you got to make sure you got to do your sound checks,
right?
Lighting check,
right?
Makeup check. Get that last little dab. Reduce any shine that may show up on video.
Yeah, see all of that. That's right.
All of that. I mean, it's a process. People don't realize.
That's right.
You got your mug, your mic.
It's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a whole bunch of stuff going on over here.
I don't know where Danielle is. She's probably still on her 17th guide class for the day.
Well, that's how Danielle does. She does 800 classes a day.
Oh, nope, there she is.
Uh-oh, you have to make us both moderator.
Oh, I do. Look at that.
Since you're first to the room, you got the magic wand.
I was enjoying my 30 seconds of power.
Well, I guess we can just jump into it, I think, right?
Jump into it. I don't know. Are we going to try to keep it to 2 hours? Is that the goal tonight?
That's the goal. We're going to,
should we put money on it?
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm telling you right now, we're not having any monologues.
You might.
So anybody who thinks they're going to get up here and talk for 3 minutes straight about some nonsense, I'm telling you right now, I will shut you down.
Uh-oh, Danielle must.
I don't know who put whatever in Danielle's grits today, but
somebody put sugar in my grits.
They put sugar in your grits.
And now I'm pissed.
I don't know. Danielle's been working out for about 17 hours straight between, trying out the guide, and I'm sure she did the Saturday 60 and I don't know, probably 12 other classes. So we'll have to excuse her.
Marco said this must mean Danielle doesn't like the guide. That's why she got a mood right now.
No, she likes it. No, but we were talking amongst ourselves, and we thought that maybe this one might be more attractive if we try to keep it, in less than 2 hours. So, we don't want anyone to feel like we're cutting them short on any of the responses, but we might just try to move some things along a little bit quicker because, I'm sure you all have things to get to Saturday night.
Yeah, we're going to see how it plays.
I was going to say, just to piggyback off of Tammy, we want to hear what everyone has to say. So just keep that in mind as you're talking. Seriously. I mean, I'm joking and saying I'm going to kick you off the stage, but don't make me really kick you off the stage because you just keep going.
Hey, Danielle, do you have the little Oscars music to start getting people to shut up?
Oh, don't give her any ideas, Mark.
Oh yeah, don't.
No, I'm just going to yell, shut the F up.
Don't give her no. Don't give her no idea. All right, I'll get it all going. Welcome everybody to our weekly wellness check. We do this every week. It's meant to just be light conversation, just fitness fans of Peloton, fans of other connected fitness products. Again, it's meant to be light conversation for a weekend. It's not meant to be any stress. So if you want to join the conversation, please, we welcome it. Hit the hand in the lower right of your phone and jump up on stage and you can be in part of the conversation. If that's a little uncomfortable and you don't really want to talk, that's all good too. Just hang out in the audience or jump into the chat because the chat be off the chain. I tell you guys every week, chat be off the chain. That's where it's all going on in the chat, right? So anyway, I guess we'll jump into the first topic, which of course.
Wait, Don.
Uh-oh. What did I forget?
You forgot to talk about the group.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Facebook. Oh,
that's right. So all of the topics that we talk about here are just topics that we've been talking about all week in the Run, Lift, and Live Facebook group. So if you'd like to be a part of those conversations, before Saturday night, just join the Run, Lift, and Live group. Again, it's just Run, Lift, and Live on Facebook. I'll welcome you in, and then you can hear all the dialogue we talk about with regards to these topics during the week and be more versed on Saturday if you want to be. If not, it's all good. So cool. All right, first topic. Peloton guide dropped after much anticipation, all kinds of months, 2 separate delays. It's out. It is out here. So I'm interested in thoughts about what people saw, what they got from it. I know, Danielle, you got some thoughts. I'm interested in what people are thinking. I saw a lot of responses to it in the group during the week. A few more today after people had used it a few times. Seems to be good, bad, all, and everything in between. So, I don't know. Danielle, thoughts?
Okay, I love it. So... I was bugging Paul about it, of course, like as soon as it came out, and he was kind of ignoring me and we weren't talking about it. And we have a rule where we don't buy like ourselves big gifts. So he has like a running list of gifts that he can buy me. And because I was being such a pain in the ass with the Mother's Day gift, so he gave it to me yesterday when it came. Because I was being so annoying. And I was going to buy it for myself. And I just was like, well, look, I can buy this and I get all the weights and I have this and I have that. So finally he just gave it to me. So I have no idea when he ordered it, but shipping was clearly really fast. Because I had he said it came Friday morning at like 8:45 and I had already been working out. So he didn't give it to me until Friday at like, must have been like 5 something. I went in my kitchen after I was like done cleaning. He was making dinner and it was like sitting on a counter. The remote was on a counter and I was like, what the hell is this? So anyway, found a remote, went downstairs. He'd already had it all set up. I love it. I love the fact that you get, I'm like a numbers person. So while it doesn't count your reps, it does track your movement. So if you're not moving, you don't get full credit. So like yesterday, I got 100% credit on the class I did. Today, I only got, I think the one I did, I got like 98% or something because I missed some. So that really bugged me because I'm like, I need to be 100% because I'm that person.
So that's motivating you? That is motivating you to take the class, whether or not you're closing this thing out or not?
Yes, it absolutely motivates me. But that's because that's how I'm driven.
Okay.
I'm driven by like closing my Apple rings and like I'm driven by having the blue dots on my Peloton calendar. Like I'm driven by that kind of data. Some people are not and it doesn't matter to them.
Right.
But for me, having 100% or being really close to 100% is very motivating. I had some issues when I set up where it wasn't finding me. It got stuck at like the movement tracker phase. So we called tech support and they like walked us through it. They were really easy to walk through. It was just a matter of like unplugging it and letting it wait for like 30 seconds and plugging it back in. So I don't know if it was because Paul had already plugged it in before I tried to use it and it had sat for like hours before I knew it was there, or if it was just like it needed to like reboot itself or something. But anyway, literally unplugged it for like 30 seconds, plugged it back in, and then the movement tracker was able to find me because it does like this whole calibration step. Mm-hmm. And then once it did that, then I was fine and it was able to see me okay. It does tell you to make sure that your clothes differentiate from like your background. Mm-hmm. So you have to be mindful of like what you're wearing when it sees you, and it'll tell you if like the camera's at a skewed angle or like anything crazy. So, you know, I got it all set up. It was working fine. Like I said, I took a class yesterday. I had already worked out for like, I don't even know how many hours yesterday before I realized that it was here. So I only did like one class yesterday because I was like, shit, I'm tired.
Right.
I don't have it in me to do like hours more classes. So I did one class yesterday. It worked amazing. I had no issues with it. Today when I went to go do it, it kept finding, I have a pole that's basically like, because my gym is in my basement. So
I didn't know where you were going with that comment when you said I have a poll. Just saying.
Yeah, I had more questions off of that. I got follow-up questions.
I was like, what goes on in that basement?
I got follow-up.
Pole, and that's how I got the guy. No.
Okay.
I still have a stripper pole.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's no stripper
No wonder
pole
why
in the
Paul's
Verwey.
always buying you gifts.
There's literally no stripper pole in the. I told you guys, I don't have any rhythm. What the hell would I do with a stripper pole? So
You take enough clothes off, nobody cares about your rhythm.
I need to hit up Paul. I need to get the scoop on this.
No, there's no stripper pole.
All right.
It's a foundation pole that holds the house up.
I mean, that's what they always are. Okay.
Foundation pole.
That's what they always say they are. Okay. But go ahead.
A foundation pole.
It's a foundation. That's what they always tell you. Okay.
Do you have a foundation pole in your basement?
Yeah. See, yeah. Don't we all? But anyway.
You guys are all fired.
But we'll let that go. We're gonna let that go. But okay.
Thank God I'm not on video. My face would be like so red.
I'm gonna ask Paul about this foundation pole. But that's all right. Go ahead.
But
That's all right. Let's see what Marcos got to say. So, okay, so Marcos, did you get the guide?
I have not gotten the guide. I was waiting for Danielle to give us the scoop. I've been selling my skinny jeans though on eBay. So that's what I've been into this week.
Oh, that's who I keep buying these skinny jeans from. I'm trying to get up to speed. I keep trying to buy these skinny jeans. Okay.
I'm curious if anyone in the chat who wasn't going to get a guide, if they're now leaning towards getting it now that, they've seen a couple people have it and post about it. I'm just curious if people have changed their minds at all.
Yeah, I would be interested in that as well. And while we wait for those questions, I want to pull Lori in. What's going on, Lori? How's it going?
Hey, not much. Just chilling on a Saturday night. We don't care how long it goes, but I agree that after about 2 hours, I kind of, it's bedtime for us. We're old.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, I actually have a question. Danielle, did you find that there are certain content, weight or strength training that you have access to that the rest of us don't now? Because that was something that they kind of said was going to come with the guide, that you have access to some strength training that the others won't have unless we have the guide.
I have not yet, but I have seen it. Robin actually mentioned it in 2 classes where she said there's going to be exclusive guide content. So I haven't seen it yet. But I think maybe Monday that stuff is going to start rolling out. Whatever, it said like a 7-week period or something where you're going to get things on a guide ahead of everyone else.
Okay.
But I haven't seen anything yet. But there are classes where they have exclusive movement trackers. That's set up to track your movement. So if you do those classes, you'll get the little bar that tells you how you're doing, if you've gotten all the movements and stuff like that. And some of those classes I had already taken, but I'm like, damn, they've been filming this guide content for a while.
Right.
There were classes that I had already taken. I was like, oh, this is guide content. I had no idea that it was set up to work with the guide. But and bottom line is, I loved it. I had a great workout with it. It kept me moving. I took less breaks than necessary. You don't have to go as fast as the instructor, because I know me and Tammy talked about this and she was curious. And it doesn't seem like if you modify that it doesn't count your movement. I did an ab class with Rad today, and he was doing hollow holds, and I just was like, yeah, I'm over the hollow holds, and I was doing regular crunches, and it still counted my movements. So
it's not limited to just strength. It incorporates core. It's interesting to me because they touted it as strength, but it sounds like it's incorporating much more than just weightlifting classes, and hopefully not a lot of complexes with Andy, but more of a weightlifting structure, maybe?
Well, it looks like you can take every single class that's on strength on the guide. Some of them, when you go in, there's a section where you can say that you want to see ones that are only tied to the movement tracker. And then those will give you a list, and I don't know how many there are, but there's quite a few where it'll tell you that you've completed the movement, and you'll get the little award at the end or whatever that tells you how much of the movement you've completed. But then it looks like you can do all of the strength library that's on there. It looks like you can do all of the yoga. It looks like you can do all of the classes that are not tied to the bike or the tread on the guide. So for someone who doesn't have either piece of equipment, it would be great to get the guide, because you can literally still do everything except for the bike or the tread classes, which is no different than having the app.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. That's interesting, because I didn't see it marketed that way. But now that you say that, that's actually all encompassing, which I like. I think that leads me to say that even though we have the move, that the guide might be an additional add-on to what we already have, based on the fact that it encompasses much more than just, say, an Andy strength class or another strength class, for example.
Yeah, and I think I heard that, I don't know if this is just rumor, but I heard that they're going to be bringing, I think I read it in an article, that they're going to be bringing additional categories or disciplines to the guide. So I think is going to be interesting, beyond just strength. Right.
They're going to have the floor-only boot camp. So it'll be cardio-based moves on the floor that you don't need a bike or a tread. And I think they said Selena, and I forgot who else.
Jess.
was going to have them, so that would be an option for people who don't have the bike or the tread. But I thought I remember seeing too on one of the promo contents that like it will kind of help you have a more well-rounded strength regimen. So like I remember them showing a clip of Andy saying like, oh, we did lower body today, I know you're sore, today is an upper body day, and it was going to make recommendations of classes based on what your workout history was.
Right.
So one more question for Danielle. Did you find that the class you took was enhanced by the guide? I know yes, competitive, yes. But my question is, was it geared towards getting you to do more reps, and was it pushing you to do so?
It definitely pushed me to do so. Like I took less breaks. So if you're someone who, like sometimes I'll take a class and it might be like my 4th class of the day, and I'm like, screw this. I'm doing 10 seconds out of 30 seconds. But because for me, I wanted to complete the little checkbox, and I wanted to hear the little, like, it makes a little noise when you complete it, when you've got enough movement in for the round. It motivated me to keep moving. So because as you're going through it, what's on the screen is it'll tell you each section that's coming up. So it'll tell you that you're in the warm-up, and it'll tell you for how long it is, and it'll tell you this is a transition period, and then it'll tell you what move you're into, and it'll tell you how long it's going to be for. And you can see the countdown, and you can see the little movement tracker filling up as you're going, and then it gives you like a little chime once you've completed, once you've moved for enough amount of time. So for me, it was definitely motivating to not take as many rest breaks. It doesn't expect you to go at the same pace as the instructor. It doesn't count your reps or anything like that. But as long as you're getting the movements in, then the movement tracker still fills up.
Okay, so it does motivate then. It really pushes for you to kind of fill that circle or whatever, how it goes and counting. And that was the biggest thing I think for our household was to I mean the move is the move, we love it and we're using it, but to add on to Peloton's core offerings, how did it motivate you to move more and versus the move, which the move counts reps, it counts weights, it counts your repetitions, so you get that, but in the same sense the guide sounds like it kind of motivates you in a different way, which I really like actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really great for if you don't care about being at 100% or you don't care about tracking where you were, because that's the great thing is that you can see where you were. So I can see, it tells you at the end of the class. So like I did a class today, I did glutes and legs with Jess, and at the end it told me that I didn't get all of my single leg deadlifts, and that's an area for me to work on for next time. It's because I didn't hit it all. I missed like some movement in there. So like for me, that's like, okay, that's something I need to focus on in the future, is that I didn't get enough reps of that. I didn't do enough movement of that. So for me, that's motivating. If someone doesn't care about that, then I guess it wouldn't be motivating. But I think most people who are going to look at it are someone who cares about what the numbers say. You know what I mean? You're going to look at it, you're going to be like, hey, let me do the best I can. And even if I don't get 100%, then I got 80 this time, and next time I get 90. Like, you can track that because it tells you.
So that's interesting. So it's not necessarily counting your reps and replaying them back, but it's telling you didn't hit the goal, which for my wife would kind of be a motivation. So that's actually interesting because I think coming down the line, this will shift dramatically. It will change in the way that it kind of gives you the AI feedback. But that's interesting that you say that because it actually, at some point, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but from hearing you say, it's actually counting what you're doing, but it's not showing you the reps. And it's just saying you didn't hit the goal.
That's how I see it as well, Lori. I see it as it likely is doing rep counting. I see this, and this is just a guess, I see this as just simply a shield while they clean up and make that rep counting capability better. Like, right? Because I think if you could just be displaying that, you know, how many reps a person was doing, I think that would have probably been better. But my guess is they're working on that. I've heard rumor that it will at some point be displaying for you the exact number of reps that you've done. But right now it doesn't. So you're kind of getting, you know, well, you completed, you know, the task at however it was attempting to count those reps and whatever it was able to pick up.
Right, because there has to be some rep counting for it to say you didn't meet your goal or you did. And I think AI, whether it's the simplistic move of counting reps is based on form, blah, blah, blah. But John, and I have to agree with you, I think they are counting reps. They're just not putting it forward until they get the interface completely to where they want it to be. Now hearing what Danielle explained, I think it's a total add-on to what we have versus what I thought before, because if it wasn't counting reps and it wasn't kind of helping you to achieve what you wanted to achieve, but I seriously think, I think you're right. I think it is counting reps behind the scenes.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
So too.
That would be my guess. Hey, let me pull in Jessica. What's going on, Jessica?
Hey, how's it going?
All is good.
Good. Thank you for the cup, John. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely.
So the question is, did you get the guide? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, just any feedback on it, your thoughts on it. Yeah, did you get it?
Yeah, no, I haven't. I originally was really letting the Bike Plus and the ability to stack be my excuse for not getting it, because I really liked the seamless way that I could move from the bike down to the floor and do my strength. But then I saw Brandy's review of it. She was way earlier this week. It was like one of the first ones that I saw anyway.
Right.
And the way she described it and talked about it, and especially the same thing, the filling up the little drop. It looks like a little droplet or something.
Yep.
Filling that up to finish that same as so far as her and Danielle, that will really motivate me to fill that up. And then I can't remember everything she said in there, but I like the data, and I decided that doing strength with guide I will get more out of my workout that way. So I would rather do it that way and be able to look at all that data. And so I plunged and I purchased it yesterday.
Okay.
And so I still haven't gotten it, obviously, but and I don't really have a space for it, but I'm gonna figure that out somehow. And I'm super excited about it, and I'm really glad to hear all the positive reviews, because so far I haven't seen any negative reviews from people who actually have it. So that's really exciting to hear.
That's cool. Like, there's some interesting things about it for me as well. I'll give my opinion in a second, but let me bring some other folks in. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, John, how you doing?
Doing good.
I was just going to chime in about someone, it might have been you earlier, saying about bringing in other class types. There was a class that dropped on demand, a yoga class, where Kira specifically said, if you have the guide, be sure to turn it on and use it. So, they've been testing it, it seems like, so it's just a matter of time, it seems like, till they roll it out to yoga and some of those others.
Right. Yeah, that's what I anticipate. That's what I thought, and that makes sense, right? That you got this camera now, and it can do some type of form. It's got computer vision, so it can do something with that, right? So it would make sense that it would start rolling out to other categories. I'll be much more interested in it as I see that evolves. So
yeah, and this was back in September that class came out, so that was 6-7 months ago. So they've had time to be working on that. Gotcha.
Well, I was just going to say I can't wait to see how it does with meditation.
So what's going on, Mike? How's it going?
I was going to say I'm figuring it's just going to keep getting better and better. That the tracking of what they can do is just going to continually improve as they push software updates. Just like everything else, they update the software and they send it out to your bike, and your bike gets new features and your trike gets new features. And I'm assuming the guide will be the same way, because after every class they ask you for feedback. Did you think the movement tracker was correct?
Right. Yeah, I mean, the hardware is there, right? I mean, they got the camera now. I mean, and they've got the interface for it with classes. So, yeah, you would assume that they could push software updates out to it and give us some new capabilities. And so, yeah, I'll be interested to see how that evolves. Let me bring Mike in. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Slim, first, congratulations on losing, what, like 14% of your body weight?
I lost more than I had anticipated. It's all good, though. I got to be leaner now. I'm older. I can't
John
stay.
is wearing a medium now.
Nice.
I know how he didn't lose it. He didn't lose it with the sugar in his grits. That's for sure.
I'm going to tell you this. Once I get to my goal, we about to be eating a whole bunch of grits and sugar. I shouldn't do that, though. But
So I'll keep this much less than 3 minutes, but I'll still probably get kicked off for my comment. I was just texting Uncle Barry in real time.
Yeah.
And we've come up with a new strategy or a new package for the guide.
Okay.
So if you talk about the top level package,
yeah,
we're going to add a foundation pole to it. And we're taking on beach sweat. So we can take them out.
Beach sweat. They're going to take beach sweat out with that. You right. Beach sweat is out now.
Or we'll acquire them.
One or the other. Yeah, I'm waiting for...
In all seriousness, so I have not ordered the guide. I am not strongly considering it, even though I have a TV in my workout area. It's not conducive to attaching something and doing it. I'm not sure why I need it vis-a-vis my Bike Plus and Tread Plus. But I think back to the rep counting, they're doing a bunch of stuff behind the scenes, and I don't know this for a fact, but just given their hires and what they've talked about publicly, on the computer vision aspect of AI, they are most certainly counting reps, and they will add on features and iterate over time.
Right.
But that's really tough. If they rolled that out initially and it was failed,
right,
it would kill the whole product. So
exactly.
I think it's a methodical approach, which I agree with. And I think that's the discipline Uncle Barry brings to the table, along with the other execs they've hired or will hire.
You know, you make a good point there. And when I look at Tempo came out with their product, and it seems like, you know, I don't have one, but it seemed like the rep counting and form correction worked really well. And then they came out with the Move, and very specific to iOS, and then they had to turn it off, and they were having problems with kind of using that through the phone's OS. But I think they could take that risk because they already had success with their main product, right? But I agree with you. Like, I don't know if Peloton could have done that. Like, it's their first venture.
They also were in the crosshairs of the pundits and the journalists bashing on Peloton.
Mm-hmm.
So if Peloton didn't have the stock price hit and the reputational hit, they could have gotten away with it.
Right.
But now they have to be much more calculated about the risks they take.
That makes a lot of sense. You're probably right. That adds up. And for that very reason, I'm interested in how this evolves. I'm really interested to see how that happens. Cool. What's going on, Evelyn? How are you?
Hi, good afternoon or good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hi. So I just got the guide and I started using it, I believe, Thursday or Friday. I can't remember when exactly. Pretty easy to set up, I think. And then also, as Danielle had mentioned, it kind of motivates you to keep going. I was yelling at Rad because I took one of his classes. I was yelling at him, but like it pushed me to go and continue doing whatever reps he had, which I normally like half-ass it. I do some of them, and when I get tired, I take a little breather.
Right.
But for this one, I actually was motivated to keep going. I didn't like the fact that he didn't have any like water breaks, but that's fine. That's just me. But otherwise, it was pretty good to set up, and then like the reps was definitely motivating. I sent you a side note just because I did have issues like syncing my Apple Watch, and for me, I always like to connect all of my workouts with my Apple Watch.
Right.
And it didn't look like it was something that was going to be in the pipeline for now. Eventually they'll have it, but they did say, oh, you can definitely get the Peloton fitness tracker if you want. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to get your fitness tracker because I heard reviews about that in the past. So definitely not getting that. But otherwise, except for that little thing with the Apple Watch, I thought it was pretty cool.
I've heard that from others about connectivity with the Apple Watch, and made me think maybe that was intentional, or maybe they're just looking to have another drop, of anticipated capabilities. Maybe, like, I don't know what that's all about, but I heard others make that same comment.
I was wondering too, John. Like, were they waiting on purpose to connect it with the Apple Watch to draw more people in Like, it took a while for it to get to the bike and to get to the tread. So it's like, were they just like holding off on doing that? Because I was like, damn it, my watch doesn't connect. So
Right.
I was a little annoyed about that.
Yeah. That threw me a little bit too. All right, what's going on, Janetta? What's happening?
Hey!
What is going on?
What's up, putas? What the fuck you think, that I don't have anything to do or something? I have to clean and cook and do my shit, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Everybody's doing good. We're out here just talking about this guide thing. You gonna get one of those? I know you're gonna get a rower, but you gonna get a guide? No.
I said on the comment that I for some reason, I just hate gadgets.
Yeah.
And toys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just me.
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
have another thing. And what I do is, I've heard some of you say that, like, you maybe half-ass your workout a little bit because you get distracted and you just don't want to finish what I do. And sometimes you see me post my workout on the fast videos. I turn on my phone and I put it on the fast video, and I put my phone down and then I do the workout.
Right.
And I don't get distracted by a text message or by a DM that somebody sent me, and I do the entire workout. That's how I keep myself, from like maybe running to the bathroom.
Right.
Maybe starting my beans or something. And that's how I do it. I just can't stand gadgets at all. In my car, my bedroom, toys, none, zero. I can't. But
John, Peloton just deactivated her membership for talking shit about the guy. Turned her off.
As we're speaking, they just shut her shit down.
She's had in her bedroom.
None, zero, nothing. No, I'm serious, nothing. Not even a man. I just can't.
Not even a man.
I mean, I have all the stuff.
The lack of gadgets is why she's
let's
calling
not
herself
get
pictures
that
every
dirty,
day.
okay? Then I get turned in for being dirty here, okay? I'm not gonna tell you how I do it, but I do it. Believe me, without gadgets.
That's a whole separate clubhouse, Janetta.
Oh man, first.
After dark.
I know, that's what I'm telling you.
That's Clubhouse going wild.
Stop digging.
You started, Danielle, talking about poles.
Filter on this one.
Danielle started it talking about poles in the basement.
About the pole.
Yeah,
Right.
it was Danielle.
Pole.
No. You guys started it.
Listen, you can't blame me. I've been quarantined for I feel like 1,000 weeks now. I mean, I need an outlet.
So listen, I got a comment about the guy and the question. So I thought, for me, I tend to, from a weight training perspective, just have my own kind of routine. I dig into it. I really don't need anybody to kind of push me in it. I'm good with it. I'm not looking for that. But what would have been interesting for me, would have been appealing, is if there was something else counting my reps or something else telling me that something was wrong with my form. That might be interesting to me. But just to see a ring close, I'm good with motivation from a weight training perspective. I don't need that. So without those very specific things, it doesn't seem interesting to me. Now, once it gets that, then it may be. But right now, it wasn't. That makes sense?
John. Oh, are you okay? Oh, go, Lori, go.
No. You go ahead, hon.
No, I was gonna say, John, I'm totally with you. I don't need any of that stuff, but some people need it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people need every gadget that is there to tell them, okay, get up, keep moving. Okay, you've been sitting for too long. You're not finishing the rep. Some people need a hand to guide them, which is okay. It's totally fine. That's why we have the personal trainers and we have, the psychologist and the counselor and all that shit, because a lot of people need all that stuff, and it's totally fine.
I was just gonna say I don't need it, because if anyone follows me, you guys know that I'm pretty motivated. I work out a lot,
right?
But I enjoy it, so I don't need it, but I like it.
I hear you. Okay.
John, just a thought though, because I'm like you. I used to weightlift and just do my own thing and have my book and count my reps and make sure my weight was increasing. But I will tell you, and again, not Peloton, but the Move, and I hope Peloton gets here because I would definitely probably switch it back over. It's not about the form; it's more about them. So the Move calculates the weight you should be doing. So, for instance, I took a Move class yesterday, and I literally was at probably 30 pounds per dumbbell. And the instructor at the next set of reps, after 3 sets of reps, said, "Oh, you're going to go heavier," and mine told me to go lighter. So the intuitiveness that I like is it made me push myself, because with Peloton and with Andy or whomever, I would probably go with 20 pounds.
Right.
And yesterday I went with 30 pounds per. I'm feeling it today. I'll be at that. I mean, I'm feeling it, but there's something for foam rolling and biofreeze. But my point is that it's, to me, it wasn't about the rep count. It was about, oh, you're telling me to do 35? Oh, yeah. I'm going to do 30. I'm going to do 30 per dumbbell.
Right.
And not my normal 20. So I think in terms of what you're saying, yes, I totally agree with you. I am a person that likes to just put my pods in and do my reps and do my workout. But the Move, and I hope the guide gets here, and I think they're almost there, and I think they're gearing towards it from what Danielle said, is that they're pushing you to failure. Right. I think if you don't push yourself to failure, and I don't think enough of us do, that we're not going to see the gains.
Right. Yeah.
You can. I think that you agree that you have to push yourself to failure, and you're not going to unless you're being guided. Unlike you, John, where you've been doing it for so long, you do. I think you have to think about the people that are just coming into weight training. Failure is the reason that you're doing it. If you can lift that last rep, you're doing something wrong. Yeah,
I agree with you on that. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I think there's kind of an old school mechanism for doing that long before technology and to getting to that same place you're talking about. And then, Tonal came along and they brought in, different forms of AI to kind of get to a place to give you that type of, information and push the machine to ensure that you're actually getting to a point of failure. And now, the Move or Tempo did a similar thing, and now we've got the guide likely kind of moving in that same direction. So no, I get it. That all makes a lot of sense, and I think that's extremely valuable. I think that's an extremely valuable component. I'm just not all that interested in it. Like I'm more interested in those pieces that tell me very clear bits of information, numbers, and let me show you your form in this particular instance is wrong, right? Like because my problem over the years is it's never been with building muscle. Like I've been able to build muscle, and then I've not worked out for a couple of years and lost it, and then worked out for a few years straight and built it back up. Like I've done that so many times. Like my issue isn't with building muscle. My issue is with doing things where I might be using the wrong form and then getting injured and not realizing I was out of form. That's where my issues are. Right.
And you and I, John, are in the same wavelength. My lower back is nothing more than me not moving the wrong way one day, or moving any way I would, and I don't have a lower back today. So I'm in agreement, and that's why I went with the Move, because most of the Move classes now are geared towards form, as long as you take the ones that are formulated for the Move and not just their studio option. But I think if Peloton gets there with the form, that's key, because if you're not going to a gym, which I don't know about anybody else, but we've given up gyms in lieu of Peloton. So if they get to the point where they're doing form, that's a game changer. Yeah, a complete game changer.
I agree. I'm hoping they get there. They haven't said anything about that being on the roadmap, but I hope they get there.
I'm curious what happens from a legal standpoint when you start correcting form. Because as you're correcting form, you're telling people their form is off. Do you still have the person who spilled hot coffee on their laps and sued McDonald's because they didn't know it was hot?
I don't know if you're at a gym. If you're at a gym and the trainer gives you form, and do you sue the trainer? I mean, it's the same thing, right? Like, I don't know.
John, it's precisely what I was going to say. If you hire a personal trainer and they give you bad advice, do you sue them?
Right. I mean, I don't know if it seems to me to be the same difference. So I don't know.
I think you sign waivers, though. I mean, even with Move, I had to sign a waiver, like when I signed up. I think that with in-person gyms, you still have to sign a waiver that says you're going to hold them not responsible. So I would think that's no different than what we're doing with AI, Mike. So I agree with you. I think we're not holding them responsible for anything we do because we're signing the waivers at the beginning of the whole sign-up process.
And Peloton is not forcing you to do anything. So it's all up to you. So they're giving you guidance, and you, like, what's the Dennis Morton quote?
I give you choices, you make decisions.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
I think that's a good place to kind of wrap up the guide.
Well, I got two questions. They're actually separate items on the agenda, but I got two questions just to close out the guide. One, Well+Good had an article this week, and they did their whole review of the guide. And after they did it, they went, this is a good product for people who are being introduced into strength training. Their perspective was, it's like Peloton's initial product, which is the bike, where there weren't, millions of people doing indoor cycling the way they are now. But the bike introduced a lot of people like me who had never done indoor cycling before to all of a sudden do it at home. And they saw the guide as that, an entry to people who may not really be doing strength training to then get into strength training. But they didn't see it as like a tonal for more established folks. They saw it as like it's an entry point. So I was interested, does that align?
I view it as an exit point.
Okay.
I can't remember who posted it. Like, a bunch of us, me being an endurance athlete, distance runner, and cyclist, our lower body is massive or strong. Mm-hmm. Our upper body looks like Homer Simpson. I'll attribute that to whoever posted that in the group. So I think the guide helps get out of this overall aerobic obsession.
Yeah.
And start thinking about strength training, especially as many of us get older, unfortunately.
Yep.
And so that's how I view it. I don't even view it as an entry point. I view it as not an exit point, but a creative point.
Okay. All right. I mean, that makes sense. And so where I hadn't really thought about it the way Well+Good put it, but it made it much more, from an investor perspective, it made it a little more appealing to me based on those numbers of folks that may get it based on how they described it. I went, okay, all right, this might be a good thing, right?
I mean, since it doesn't have form correction yet, I don't know how it would be really geared towards beginners. I would think form correction will be really geared towards beginners because you don't really know what you're doing.
That's a good point.
Whereas, like, those of us who have been lifting for a long time, I know how to do a snatch. I know how to do a clean. I know what my form looks like. Like, I have a certification in addition to having worked out and lifted for years.
Yeah.
So I don't really need someone to tell me that I'm doing it right or wrong. So form correction to me speaks more to beginners than what they have right now.
That makes a lot. That makes a lot of sense. You're right. With those aspects of it would clearly make it a little more useful in my mind. Yeah, to a person that was a beginner. That's a good point. Anyway, I know we've been on this a long time, and Tammy's cueing me. We got to keep it moving. All right, so
let's go right now.
That's right. Tammy's like, we got to move, John. What are you doing? All right. So I was like, scrolling IG, and I see this ad from Tonal, and they got Michelle Wee, and she's with her golf club, and she's hitting the golf ball, and then all of a sudden it shows her with a Tonal arm, and she's like swinging the Tonal arm with the same motion as her stroke, and they called it Tonal Golf. Classes being taught, I guess, or by Michelle Wee. And I thought, wait a minute, is this innovative or is this just odd? I don't know which one it is. I'm not a golfer. So I got questions. Is anybody going to buy a Tonal because they can golf? Their golf game will get better?
I would say kinda, if it's consider it's an additional program. And hello, everyone. I've missed y'all for many Saturdays.
What's going on?
Miss being on here.
What's going on, Nicole?
I'm traveling like crazy, and I'm like, God dog it, time zone changes. Okay. But yeah, with the way the program, so I dabble with golf here and there. Now, I suck. I like the after part of golf, of going drinking and driving the cart, but I really do try.
I'll join you for that part.
I mean, I'm a golfer. That's what's it's in it. I'm good. I'll be a golfer.
One thing they always tagged me on was my form, obviously, when swinging. So, of course, when the program pops up, I log in to see what the exercises are, and I'm like, ooh, that makes a lot of sense. That those would be the exercises. And also, because it's specifically meant for golf, you can't change those exercises out. So as you know, in other, or maybe some of you don't know, in some of the Tonal programs, you can actually switch out the exercise. So for instance, if you're not a burpees fan, you can click on it and then it'll give you options that still work out those areas, and you would click on that. But because this one is specifically, hey, we're doing this to get your golf game better, it's already set up with what it has to be, and that's it. So I could definitely see the benefit of it. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, yes, I'm definitely going to buy a Tonal just because it's on there. But if I'm a golfer and I'm thinking, ooh, this will improve my game, and I was already looking at this item anyway, I would say this would kind of push me towards, yeah, I'm going to buy that purchase. I'm going to make that purchase.
Okay. What's going on, Sheldon? How's it going?
It's going well, my friend. This is going to sell a lot of Tonals.
You think so?
I think it is.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I think that if they add tennis and stuff like that to it, it is going to sell a lot for them because most people do other things. And golf, people spend tons of freaking money to get their game better. And if you can focus on the muscles and the swing motions and all the stuff that goes with it, people will pay a mint for that. Particularly if they start to show real results and people start bragging about it. It's going to sell like hotcakes. If it worked, I'm assuming it works. I assume they've done their homework and have the math. But, I mean, if you can change someone's golf game, you give them a few strokes and beat their buddies, and it's oh my God, people will spend a mint for it.
Can you imagine? You just said something there that I had not considered. And that is, if people take this program and turn around and start bragging about improvements to their game, okay, then I got you. You're right.
Yeah, and same with tennis and all that. If they start having a stronger backhand or overhand, whatever it is, serve speed goes up. Trust me, people will pay a mint for that, and this will differentiate them very well.
So
I think that they can do that with any sport, though. They'll have like an uptick.
And that's what
But golf is money. Golf is such a money sport. I mean, people spend so much frigging money. It's crazy what they spend to play golf.
Now, to a point you made earlier.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, if they add additional sports into it as well, like you said, you mentioned tennis, but even like if they have something that's geared towards agility for like football or something for like baseball, like people will spend shit tons of money for their kids to be in tip-top shape. I know because I'm one of them. I have boys that are all athletes.
Yep.
And
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And to that point, I think I think it was Crystal who told me that they had other sports in the hopper. Like it isn't.
She did.
Just going to be this.
I remember that. Yep.
Yeah. So wow. Yeah. That's interesting. Okay. All right. I'm feeling it a little more than I was when I read it. I got you. I think that may play. Okay. So here's another question on this topic, and I'll close it out. And that is this something that has to be specific to a tool that has a pulley system? Like, could these other connected fitness players do the same thing? Could Peloton do the same thing and say, okay, with the guide, we're going to do something with dumbbells and give you a golf program?
I think 100% they could. We have local gyms that focus on certain sports. And like the football team all goes to work out at one gym because they have workouts geared towards agility and speed for the high school football team. And like, if you're in Pennsylvania, you know that football is like life. So, but I definitely think that Peloton or any one of the other connected fitness things, if they specify workouts for the different sports, I think they can rack up.
Yeah, I would agree with Danielle because, like, I love to golf. I'm not very good, but I'm always like watching YouTubes on how to like whatever form or what exercise you can do to get your back stronger, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not be the same as with a pulley system, but you can definitely have different options. And I think it's a game changer. A lot of people will jump on it for all kinds of sports, tennis or stronger backhand or things like that. It's definitely something people would be interested in, I think.
Yeah, John, I think they could do it. I don't think they can do it as well. I think the pulley system does give them they have resistance coming at a different angle and not just gravity resistance, right?
Yep.
So you can pull from the top.
Right.
You get in golf, it's the downswing that is more important, and you can't do that with free weights.
Right.
You have to do it from a weird angle. It just doesn't work the same. You could go through the full stroke of a golf swing and feel the resistance the whole way through it.
And that's what I think. That's what I think. I mean, historically, when I'm trying to work certain muscle groups that require motions that I can't do without a pulley system, that involves you kind of contorting your body or laying down or laying on an incline, or you got to find other kind of positions. It seems like the pulley system gives you like a little more of an advantage there. And the fact that those arms kind of can move to different positions, specifically for golf, I guess is what I'm saying. That's interesting though.
So actually, I have one quick question for Danielle. Now that she has the guide, is the tonal coming off of your list or being shifted down, considering May 5th or 6th, whenever John is supposed to go to Peloton and get your rower for you? That will be the first time that you're getting.
The tonal is not coming off my list until it's in my house.
Very good. And I'm pleased with the response.
As a matter of fact, Nicole, aka Coco Loco, was like, "That doesn't say tonal." When she saw my guide post, she's like, "That doesn't say tonal. Tonal is not coming off my list. Paul knows it. It is number 1 on my list. He has a long list of gifts to choose from. I keep the list full for him, so he never has to really think about it." But yeah, no, tonal's not coming off. Neither is my rower. My rower is not coming off my list until it's in my possession, and then we take it off the list.
One more thing, Sheldon, I thought about with regards to that thought about the advantage Tonal will have there. I think the ability to control the weight in real time is just an advantage in a lot of ways, but I think specifically with like a golf-based program.
Yeah, they can even change where the weight is applied.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're at the top swing, on the way down to the bottom, does it loosen up once you come to the swing? I don't know. There's lots of ways they could do this.
Right.
And I think it's brilliant. I really do think this is a brilliant move, and it's the right time. And again, I know that Peloton and others are also looking at pulley systems and things like that as well. So, not to say they can't do it in the future, but right now I think this is a really strong competitive advantage. If they market it right and get like a Michelle Weed or someone like that to promo it for them, I think they're going to make big moves in an area that maybe wasn't touched as much before.
You know what's funny? Me and Crystal have had these debates about this, and we land on different sides of this debate. That is a similar thing that what I talked about with the rower a couple weeks ago, where Hydro has like 200,000 units sold. I got to imagine Tonal is still under 1 million units. I would assume they're probably somewhere around 700K.
The price point probably would put it that. I would agree with you.
Yeah. So if they're at guessing 700K, devices sold, 600K, somewhere around there. How quickly could Peloton catch that with this guide thing? And if they go past them in members that have purchased, a strength product, does that essentially make them the leader? Even though I get all these innovative things and these capabilities and these things that Tonal keeps dropping, but right? Like, and now that I'm hearing all these members saying they like the guide, like, what does this mean? Right?
I don't know. I think it's almost a different category in a way.
Yeah, you're right.
Right?
Yeah.
And I have to agree.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, to me,
I don't know how it's
when the guide came out, I thought more about the mirror than I did tonal and tempo, because they always talk about, you stand in front of it and it's looking at you, and tonal has never said that's what we do.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I see you in the chat, Brandy. I think you're right. I think they did say 225,000 or 250,000. I don't remember the number. Something like that as the soft launch. So you're right. I guess I'm thinking longer term, like beyond the sales of this initial batch. Like, considering Peloton has 7 million subs and 3 million, supposedly, the thought is when they report next month, they'll have 3 million members. That's where and we've got all these members buying this guide because the membership is free and it's only $295. My mind keeps telling me that 225 or 250,000 units are probably going to get sold, and they're probably going to need another batch of them. And so what does this end up meaning?
I was just going to say, John, based on the price point for just the guide, I think that they'll definitely be up there. If they're considered in the same category.
Yeah.
If you put them in the same category, then yeah, I think absolutely Peloton passes tonal, because one, we have all these crazy Peloton fanatics who love the brand and who buy anything and everything that Peloton releases.
Right.
But also the price point is so much lower than a tonal.
Right.
So if you got weights from Walmart or Target or, Dick's Sporting Goods or whoever, you're set. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have this. And I think tonal starting price is what, like $4,000 or something?
Right. And Sheldon,
it's a lot.
And Sheldon, your position has kind of been Crystal's. Crystal's is like, well, yeah, basically she's been like, well, it's different. And
I think it is.
And it's not really the same, and I don't think you can quantify a winner in strength based on that.
Yeah, I would agree with her.
I think they're different too. I do think I agree with Sheldon that they're different. But I'm just saying, if people are lumping them together and saying this is strength, then I think Peloton wins.
Yeah. I think I hear you as well, Chris. You were saying?
I agree with everyone thinking they're different categories. I have the tonal as well, and they're both strengths, but they're coming at it from different ways and very different approaches to it.
Yeah.
But will it impact tonal? Potentially. Because if people think they're getting a strength device, people may have been thinking strength device, they may not see the difference. They may cloud the difference and say, oh, it's Peloton, I can do weights now, I don't need a tonal, right? They may think that's an easy, cheaper way to get into strength training, and it may forego our tonal purchase or may impact their sales completely. So
right.
It could impact them. I don't want to say it won't impact them, but they are totally different. You can't compare them side by side. They're the same day.
Right.
I personally think that it actually helped tonal when Peloton came out for this. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I woke up to 3 referral credits.
Oh, okay.
They dropped that. There were people who were on the fence because they were holding out.
Oh, you're right.
I had put up my Debo post or my Suge Knight post of when y'all ready to come to some, to the dark side.
You're right.
That's a great point, Nicole. Great point.
That's a good point, Nicole.
We're like waiting, thinking it was going to be actually strength training equipment. And this guy swore me up and down. And I said, there's no way it's going to be anything like tonal. I understand where you're coming from. But tonal has been at this for years, kind of like how Peloton was ahead of the bike for years.
Right.
Sure enough, it dropped. I woke up and it was like, thank you for your referral credit. Thank you. I was like, yes.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot all about that. That happened to a few people in the group, to me, from the group that hit me up and said, okay, I waited for, let me go get this tonal now. So you're right. I did get messages like that as well. So yeah, in some scenarios, it may have actually helped them. Well.
What's up? It's Dan.
Hey, what's going on, Dan?
How are you, everyone? There's a rumor going around that actually the guide scans your room to see if you own a hydro, tonal, or mirror, and then it markets to you. No, I'm just kidding. It's good seeing all of you. Sorry I zoned out. Tammy, John, Danielle, thanks for putting this room together. It's always a nice thing to kind of see everyone in here on a Saturday night, so I appreciate it. It's interesting hearing about the guide. I don't know, and I don't need to take you off subject if you covered this, but I'm unsure if the guide is attached to the new data that's on the bike screen about your body. Did you guys talk about this already?
Yeah, well, we didn't really go into detail on it, but yeah, the whole body activity.
Yeah, it's just like, I think it's another misfire, but like, so I rode, my move went well. Thank you all for your suggestions and help, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, like today, 17% of my body was my glutes, 14% of my body was my hamstrings, and 27% was my other. So I don't know what my other is, but it's getting bigger and stronger. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm a huge guy on the data and the cadence, and, you know, I read all the graphs and I download data, but the body stuff is kind of like, of course I work my hamstrings and glutes. I'm on a bike. So I wasn't sure if it came out, this data, I believe, the same time the guide did it. I do not know if it's related to the guide, but I don't really know how helpful it is on the bike screen. So that was my one take. I'm fascinated hearing everybody talk about the guide. I don't have any interest right now. I think there's things about it that are cooler than I expected. The counting of the reps, seeing your form. But I can't say that there's a real call to action for me. I'm not jumping to get it. So that's just kind of my read. And the last thing, I just want to thank everybody for tips on moving the bike. It did move fine. It is on carpet now on the mat, and I'm thinking about, I don't know if Jessica or anyone has a board under it, or if anyone's bought a plyboard or knows people that have, because bike's moving a little bit, but the move worked great. Thank you to all of you in the room that sent me tips. I appreciate it. And the last thing, all of you that are asking me about my Peloton date, we'll just have to wait on that until the end of the call here. So I'll make you stay on for some incentive. So
you knew that question was coming, Dan. You knew that.
Yeah, it went well, and we've talked a couple times this week. Some people in this room have insider information, but it was really nice. It was really, ironically, probably a good thing we didn't talk about Peloton all that much. So
okay.
It was great. She reached out to me. She said, I always appreciate your high fives, and it was very nice to always get a note that way. Date went well, and it was not dominated by hits and hills.
Okay.
Or favorite instructors.
Well, that sounds good.
It was nice. It was very nice. So definitely we'll be in touch again. So that's tonight's love report, and I'll turn it back to Danielle and Tammy and John.
Well, that sounds like success.
We should add this to the agenda, John. I mean, like every week there should be a Dan dating life update, like the Love Chronicles through Peloton.
We need a Dan dating update and a Danielle basement foundation poll update now every week.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be like if it went well, it could be, you could call it cadence, and if it was bad, resistance. You could just call it whether it was a cadence or resistance week.
Got it.
And John, did you see Danielle's on a roll? It was polls, snatches, and OnlyFans is the latest. I don't know if you've been checking.
I noticed where she been going with it.
Where's the kick button?
Listen, all I'm saying is Paul must be one lucky guy.
I mean, he got the right gift. That's all I know.
He's a lucky guy.
He's a lucky dude.
That's why he's
Listen,
like,
29 years, something's
You got the guide. You want a rower? I'll get you a rower.
May 4th at 9 a.m.
Danielle's getting the tonal next week now.
Listen, I'm just saying, after 29 years, something has to be right. And
that's right.
The rower better show up at 9:01 on May 4th.
May 4th at 9 a.m. So I was going to ask something about that topic, but my bad memory, wait a minute, I think I got it. Okay, the whole body activity thing you were talking about, Dan. So when I saw it, I thought that's a fun thing, but I don't know how, I'm not sure how valuable it is. I think it's a nice thing to look at a glance, but I would assume you're taking classes. When you're taking the classes, you know the muscle groups you're working, your plan or your schedule or whatever.
Surprise, hamstrings and glutes on a bike.
Right.
Something I don't know.
The plan or the schedule that you're working towards with your particular fitness regimen probably aligns to these various muscle groups, and you already know you're taking them in this sequence on these days. So yeah, I thought something similar, but I thought it was cool, though I wasn't trying to dog it. I just thought, I'm not sure how useful people will find that. I'm not sure. But,
hey, John and Dan, I think they're gearing more towards beginners. If you look at, Uncle Barry, he's not an expert in Peloton or in exercise. I think this might be a little bit more geared to bringing on beginners who may not understand the muscle workout relationship and may not understand, like if you do strength and bike, so I'm assuming, because I have not done that on the bike yet, that it's going to highlight what you're doing with the strength too on that platform, even without the guide.
Right.
So I think taking a step back, I think they're not trying to catch the people that know what they're doing. I think they're trying to bring in some guidance for the people that don't know or may possibly be new to exercise in general. I mean, you look at some of the comments in the OPP and things like that. I mean, it's people that are like, oh, I just started working out after 10 years. I think it's more of a, it's not a gimmick, right? It could be. But for those who work out religiously and extensively, but I think it's more geared towards kind of trying to capture some of those folks that don't know what they're doing, and they're trying to capture keeping them away from the gym,
right,
and utilizing some of what a trainer would tell them in terms of how they're working out.
Hey, Danielle, what everybody talking about pizza in the chat for? I don't know nothing about this. I want some pizza. I mean, why I ain't get no pizza? What they talking about? That's all right.
Paul made homemade pizza today.
Oh, man, and Paul's making pizza.
Instagram stories.
Paul is making pizza, too. Okay, all of this is starting to make most sense now. Okay, we're gonna leave it alone, though. Okay, I got it. Man. I have to come over for pizza. Oh, Erica said no pizza for me. Yeah, see, never mind. Let's get off this topic before I get depressed. All right, next topic. So I'm scanning the net a couple of days ago, and there's this article in the New York Times talking about the various products you should be using to clean your bike. And not only the various products, but the frequency in which you're supposed to be cleaning your bike. And they talked about basically a more thorough cleaning at certain points. But every time you get off your bike, they had a whole regimen of what you should be doing. And when you get it down, it should take you like a minute or so to do. And it involved cleaning the monitor and the seat and the resistance knob and the mat. And so while I'm reading this, I'm trying to remember the last time I cleaned my bike.
I barely clean myself that well.
Oh, snap. We clean our bike every time we use it, and the mat, and the resistance knob. We literally clean it.
See, am I the outlier? Am I the only one that when I look at my...
No, you are not.
Yeah. No, you're not.
Okay.
I actually, my resistance knob, I put it's not saran wrap, it's like that Glide cling wrap stuff over it. Or the press and seal. It makes like a little umbrella. So but when I do work, I mean, I quickly wipe the sweat off with a towel that I use. That's about it. And then once in a while, if it's getting grody, I'll take her down. But that's it. I don't have time to do all that. No.
Now I got to admit though, when me and Erica shared a bike, so this is going back now. This is 6 years ago, and Erica, it was her bike. I bought it for her. She was the only one doing indoor cycling, and then I watched her doing these Alex Toussaint classes, and I was like, wait a minute, hold up. So then I start using her bike. Now back then, I cleaned it. Right, because I was like, I'm going to be a little embarrassed if Erica has to get on this bike and my sweat's on it, or if there's a bunch of spit bubbles on the screen. I clean them off. Ever since we got our own bikes, I'm just not even worried about it now. I mean, I guess if somebody was coming over and might want to get on the bike, maybe I would be more interested, but I don't know.
Okay, I have to step in here. Not for nothing, it takes us 2 minutes to clean our bikes. We make our own cleaner.
Yeah.
So we're kind of those crunchy people. But in the terms of cleaning it, we had to change out the seats because not for nothing, my wife sweats. We have our own bikes. We have separate bikes in this house.
Yeah.
But she sweats to a point where that seat has to be clean. Not being gross, but we have to clean. The sweat pours on the mat. No, there ain't nothing hiding in this house that's going to be bacteria ridden. Not for us anyway. We do clean. It takes us 3 minutes to wipe down the bike. We spray it at the cloth. We wipe down, not the screen. The screen we clean.
Right.
Probably intermittently. We clean the screen with a soft, a dampened paper towel. But No. Maybe a woman thing. I clean my bike.
Okay, I'm gonna consider it. I'm gonna consider changing my ways.
I clean it every time too. And the screen, I do clean the screen. And when my wife uses it and she doesn't, she leaves her fingerprints. I'm like, you're banned from my bike.
Marcos, I love you. I love you. I
right.
literally had arguments down and out with my wife when we shared a bike about leaving her fingerprints on the screen.
All right, see,
I'm like John. I don't clean after every time I use the bike. I do clean. I don't clean after every time. And I commented in the group that when a tech came to clean my, like, to check my bike, he was like, this is literally one of the cleanest bikes I've ever seen. And I was like, well, I do clean it. I use the Logan Active Clean thing or whatever. It comes with like a microfiber towel.
Yeah.
And it comes with like a spray that you can use on the screen and on the bike itself. So I definitely do use that to clean, but I don't clean it after every ride. And then I have all the drip accessory stuff. So I've got the one that goes under the bike on the mat, so the mat doesn't get gross, and like that can just throw in the wash. I have the one that goes over the handlebars, so that can just throw in the wash. Like all of that is super convenient.
Man,
you guys are nasty. Seriously, you guys are nasty little bitches. Unbelievable. I have to clean my bike after after I'm done riding the bike or the tread. I clean everything. I wipe my weights and I put them where they go. I mean, come on, guys. You pay
What is the point in owning your own shit if you gotta wipe it after every use? When I go to the gym, I have to wipe everything down when I'm using it. What is the point in owning my own shit if I gotta wipe it down every time after I'm done?
And see, and I'm with you, Danielle.
From rusting, and they rust. They just rust, Danielle. Come on.
Bacteria. That's all I can think of. Is that gross.
Come on.
See now.
Bacteria that you
It's
carry
my
in your
bacteria,
farm.
though. It's my bacteria.
See now.
It is just me. I will wipe my bike down like once a week, but there's no one else that's using it. Even if I'm dating a guy, one guy tried to hop on my bike. I was like, no, sir, we're not at that stage in the relationship. We can discuss that. So it's just me. Like, I've had my bike since 2018. I don't have rust on it. I wipe it down once a week, clean my screen off if anything gets on it, and keep it moving.
You hear that, Dan?
That's a good sign.
I use the same pair of shorts all week and then wash them on Sundays. Is there a problem with that?
That's an issue.
Well, see.
Swamp ass. There will be no.
Oh my God! I'm gonna choke on my food. Then you know what?
I'm kidding. I don't want you to choke on your food. There you go.
Well,
Need any more after that? Dan's dates are over.
I hope your date isn't on this call.
Up next to Dan's dating life.
The whole story he was about to tell us later in this, the whole story he was about to tell us just changed, right? But you know, to what Sheldon was saying a second ago, I think Nicole might have just given us some things to consider, Dan, here. I mean, Nicole said there's a particular point in a relationship when you then allow the person to use your Peloton equipment. Like, is that going to be the same thing with this dating situation you got going on, Dan? Is there a line?
Oh, that's the only way I lure them into my life is to use my Peloton.
Oh, okay.
That's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Yeah, I'm the same thing. It really resisted having people get on my bike.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Just because I got fitted and I'm such a geek about the dimensions and everything. Like the minute I would drop the seat post and move it to someone else's dimensions, I'd freak out. I have to get it back to my, whatever it is, 18DE. So moving the seat post would have to be a big commitment. That's like keeping a toothbrush in my house.
It's fun hearing about your dating life. I'm excited.
Like the fit is the important thing.
I was gonna say, I agree with Lori. I'm calling bullshit, Dan. It's this swamp ass that's keeping you from letting people ride your bike.
Hey, I'm not saying I'm dating that much. You can leave your toothbrush here. You can leave your clothes here. Just don't touch my bike.
I think
Fittings is the last thing on the list. It's all about the sweat in the other areas that's going to be on the bike. That's keeping people from sharing bikes. The fittings is the least of it.
Actually, I think, Dan, your position there is actually really common. I think it's really common that people don't like the seat height and position changed, and then people don't put it back. And I think that probably does bug a lot of people. I would guess.
That bugs me. I hopefully will catch bacteria some other way. Yeah, the seat height, I do not want to change. The post that if someone says, "Oh, can I just jump on for a minute?" and they like touch my seat or something, I'm like, "Oh man, don't do that."
That's hilarious. Well, okay. Well, you guys inspired me to go clean my bike as soon as we get off this Clubhouse, and I might do it again in a month or two.
Every time, John. Every time, please.
Okay. All right. I'll try. I'll try that along with trying to be on time more often as well. Cool. All right. What do we got next? The next thing I had on here is I have an item on here, but I'm gonna merge it with something else I saw. Okay. I saw the German instructors advertising some type of silent classes to some specific genre of music. Did any of you guys see that? Like where they're not going to talk?
Yes.
Yeah.
EDM music. Yeah.
Yeah. I got questions.
Just go. It was in your group, I think.
I got questions about that. How in the world can you do a class and you can't talk? Like, how are you going to tell me what I need to be doing?
That's what I said. I literally messaged my girls. I was like, this is going to be weird as shit. Like, even if you go to a cycling studio and you take a class, like, they talk to you. So, no, maybe they're not having, like, a full-blown conversation for, 30 or 45 minutes that our instructors do where they talk to you, like, nonstop because there's no one in the room. They still talk to you. So I'm really, really, really curious, like, how this is going to work. So are they silent the whole time? Or do they just call out, like, the changes? So, like, okay, now you're going to hit this resistance and this cadence, and then they're quiet again. I'm curious how it's going to work.
When are these classes? Oh, okay, it looks like they're on April 10th and April 27th, I think. That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow. I think Eric's class is tomorrow, and I am so looking forward to it. They don't have to say a single thing. I just hope that they would put the range, the resistance and the cadence ranges, and just call it a day, and then let the music guide you. Because deep house is different. Like, you can almost just be in a trance with that.
Do you think that? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I assume they're probably actually just going to, in between songs, give you a range for that song. But if not, like, they have during the Ride to Greatness, they have that TV with the score. So who knows, maybe they're going to have a TV behind them with the resistance range and be silent the whole time.
So this is what I was thinking. I've heard, you hear the complaints I've heard over the years or the instructor, they talk a little bit too much on this class or what have you. Is this a response to that, or is it just specifically to this type of music? Like you were saying, Megan.
I thought it was specifically to this type of music. I mean, I don't think they're responding to people's complaints, because I feel like the German instructors would be the least of anyone's issues when people are complaining about the instructor talks too much.
That makes sense.
So I think it's specific to the music.
That makes sense. Go ahead, Anisha.
I think it's specific to the music too, but also if Peloton was really addressing the complaints, then they would go in and do an update and make it literally where the instructor could go on to mute. And all you hear is the music. That to me is more of a move of saying, okay, we hear you fine. We're just you can have the ability to mute out the instructor once you take X amount of rides.
Okay, I got a question and a statement after I go to Anisha here. What's going on, Anisha?
So yeah, I basically had talked to Danielle about this earlier and said to her, when I take classes with instructors in the foreign languages, I'm just basically following the ranges anyway. So for me, I wasn't feeling like it was a difference. I would be following along with the music, and in most cases, it would be just like actually treating it like any other class, because they tell you to go at your own pace anyway. So my thoughts would be either you're going to be following the beat of the music or you're going to go with what you're comfortable with. you're either going to go off script and do what you want to do, or you're going to try to follow along the best that you want, which means you're doing what you want to do regardless. So you're there, you're going to have the workout that you want to have, and that's just going to be what it is regardless.
That's a good point. That is a good point, because I mean, I tend to do that myself. So that's why, that is a very good point. And I guess the cues for in the saddle and out of saddle, I mean, of course, you can just visually see that. It would just be like resistance or where the intent is to push. And maybe those just won't be the focus as it relates to this. So I guess that makes sense. Okay, so I guess my question is, I have taken many classes where I just wasn't feeling the instructor that day. So I got a TV in my workout room. There's a couple of them. So I just turned the screen down, the volume down on the screen. I can still see them, but I'm listening to something completely different. It ain't even a class. Is that blasphemy? Like, do you guys do that? Does anyone else do that?
People do it all the time in Power Zone.
Okay.
I've done it too when I was marathon training, and I just knew that like I needed to work at a steady pace and not follow, the class call outs. Sometimes you just gotta do what feels natural and just kind of do your own thing.
Right.
I do it all the time on the runs because I run better to my own music. I love the instructors, but I find that I run faster to my own playlist. So I will frequently take a class and just turn them off and do whatever the hell I want to do, and I've got my own music playing through my headphones.
Yeah.
I'll say I definitely do it when I'm in one of like a group challenge, and whoever it is that day as the instructor, if they are not an instructor I enjoy, I'll take the class, completely turn them off, and just follow the cues on the screen.
Yep.
It's classic in Power Zone. We've seen people do it constantly in Power Zone, especially when if you are in challenges or doing longer rides, because the types of music range vary, and a lot of times it's not music. The music selections are not always ones that people prefer, so they do the same thing. They choose their own music and they turn it down, and they just make sure that they monitor to stay within their zones.
Let's be clear, Power Zone music does not vary. It just sucks across the board.
I see.
Diplomatic.
Well, damn, Tammy, tell us how you really
I mean, see, Tammy fits in. See, that's exactly how I do it. Like, I like that. So listen, I see a lot of people in the chat talking about Power Zone as well. So, I mean, it seems like people are really aligning to what you're saying, Anisha. Like, I guess Power Zone has just historically, is it something about Power Zone? You're staying in your zone, so you really don't need as many cues? I don't know what it is, but it sounds like people are just kind of aligning with that. That's what they do.
Well, it's because other things, there have just over the course of time, other things have come up in lieu of Peloton's Power Zone program that allow you options so that you don't have to suffer through the music.
Right.
So you do have other programs that are out there that people can use that allow you to be able to track your zones or give you the course, like for older classes anyway, the course program. So you know where you are, and when it is time to change, you can do it. Or you can just turn on closed captioning. A lot of people turn that on so they can just follow the words on the screen. You can and then change when you read it and it say it's time to go. But yeah, for the most part, anything other than listen to the music.
Okay, I'm gonna bring in Charlotte, but I just want to say right quick. Now, I don't know how you out here in the chat with this blasphemy talking about Tevin Campbell, Danielle. I don't even know how you doing that, but I'm gonna let that go. So anyway, what's going on, Charlotte?
Hi, everybody. I was just going to go back to the foreign language instructors.
Yeah.
What I've had. Are those subtitles available? Maybe that's something they need to explore a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know if they're available for the German instructors to have subtitles in English or what. But that would be. But like Anisha said, I have taken like a lot of Cliff's. I just love his vibe.
Yep.
And you really, really don't need to. Understand him, but he does also. He's done like I just think one class, and or 2 classes where he speaks fluent English, which were really cool. But he has just a very cool vibe about him and his energy. And as long as you have, I probably wouldn't do it live. You have the metrics there. It's easy to do.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm a Power Zone rider too, and there's been some classes that I just suffered.
Yeah.
I don't typically, because I do need the queuing, and I think I miss it.
Right.
I've been so tempted to mute some of those classes, but Matt does a good job with the request ones. I guess you can't vote for playlists for his long rides, but most of the time it's not the best.
I guess the reason I was bringing all this stuff up is that as I question the idea of a class where an instructor is just not going to be speaking, my mind then started kind of, directing towards like these scenarios you guys talked about with like Power Zone. People are already doing that. Or I've already done that. I've turned people down a whole bunch of times and I'm not listening to anything that there's. So it's like I guess there's more validity to it. We're probably already doing it in some scenarios anyway. This just allows us now to hear the music, and we don't really have the direction. And then and you're right, there may be other ways that they kind of get these things to work. I think someone else said in there, maybe there's going to be something behind them that tells you some direction. Maybe there'll be something on the screen. I don't know. But I guess there's more validity to it than I originally thought. Now my question and what my mind is going is this like, an introduction that might become more of a common class type, or is this just kind of an event? That's the thing that's in my mind now. But anyway, Jessica, how's it going? What is happening?
So I just want to
don't let her up.
Really, really quick.
I was gonna say, don't let her up. She's probably about to give me crap about R&B that I was talking in the chat. Don't let her. Mute her. Kick her off the stage.
That's what I was gonna do.
I know what you were.
I want to hear what she has to say. You're outruled, Danielle.
Me too.
Because working out to R&B is the shit, and you need to get your life together, Danielle.
There it is.
Making love to your legs, come on.
Come on, Danielle. Try that R&B on the pole.
I need to make love to my legs. What kind of bullshit are you talking about, Jessica McCarthy?
If you take a nice endurance run to just R&B,
right?
Good night. It's lit. It's lit.
See, that's where I'm at.
She saves it for the pole.
Number 2, Power Zone. So I was one of those very skeptical about Power Zone. However, I was on a BGM Clubhouse, and they were like, you need to do Power Zone in order if you want to get faster. And I was like, and for me, that's all you got to tell me. I'll zone everything out. But I didn't do any challenges. What I did, I was very strategic. I only took Matt. That's my boo. And I made sure I looked at the playlist before, and there were quite a bit where his playlists were dope or they were just hip-hop only, and I loved it. And it really did help in terms of my improvement. And the second thing to that, I listened to Janetta, and she was talking about how Sweat Steady helps with endurance as well. And I've recently been taking more Sweat Steady class with Jess King, and I don't really rock with Jess King like that on any other classes. But them Sweat Steady classes, fantastic. And if you're trying to become a better runner, become a better athlete, and better at endurance, Sweat Steady and Power Zone is where it's at.
Yep.
I agree. I took a lot of Sweat Steady when I was marathon training, and definitely I think it helped.
And Sweat Steady is basically Power Zone just with better music. It's lit.
See, I like that description.
Rocks about the Power Zone. She can literally kick rocks with sandals on, and she can also kick rocks about the R&B. Stop it, Jessica. Just stop. We're family. Stop this shit right now.
See, you lost me, Danielle, when you was in the chat talking that trash about Tevin Campbell. See, that's where you lost me, Danielle.
Listen.
The mad disrespect.
Listen. Tevin is good, but not to work out to.
Okay. Hi.
It's not running music. It's not. No, girl, bye.
Good night.
No.
Good night. Let me mute myself. Good night.
I need I don't know, some T.I. with some Rubber Band Man or some French Montana with some Pop It. I need some fire.
I feel it.
Danielle,
You're gonna mess somebody up in the middle of the road if you got T.I. all the time.
I be done got injured every class trying to listen to T.I. every class.
Danielle wants those trap classes with Marcel.
With Marcel, that's right.
Absolutely. I need the trap classes. I need the trap classes and the Ratchet Moms Club with Kirsten. Like, that's what I need. And I need the full on, like, hardcore when Robin says is TT Robin coming and she's playing all the shit. Like, that's what I need. I need Wu-Tang. I don't need Tevin Campbell to run. Like,
I hear you.
I don't need Tevin. Not at all.
What were you saying, Janetta? You were coming in?
No. I was saying that R&B for me, no, thank you. Today's class for Sweat Steady was really good if you like EDM.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Sweat Steady, and that class was freaking amazing. And yeah, I agree. Maybe once in a while they can just stop talking. But the problem is that they have to not only push us to do better, they have to call the numbers, and then they have to give the shout outs to those, celebrating. So it's really hard for them.
Jess King is the bomb, though. I love Jess King. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jessica.
I'm not taking no silent ass class. That's a no. No. Absolutely. I might as well just take a scenic route or put it on Just Ride and play my own damn music. What I need you for?
I'm intrigued, though. I am mad intrigued.
I bought this bike. That's where I'm at. If I wanted to do that, I could have gotten a cheaper bike. Just played my music on, been like, Alexa, play T.I., as Danielle was saying, and called it day. I would have said, no, at that time anyway.
Jessica said, what? Jessica said, what I need you for. Okay. Well, see, that's why I'm intrigued. That's why I'm going to be on that class tomorrow, because I am intrigued now.
Absolutely not. And I don't take no kind of German classes. I don't care who's teaching. If it's not in English, I'm done.
I am curious if it's just going to be that they don't do, like, the milestones and the shout-outs and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And that's where they're quiet, or if they're quiet the whole time. So I am really interested to see what the format looks like. And I really love house music. I mean, I won't be on live tomorrow because I've got stuff to do. Sundays are my longer run days. But I am curious to see what the class looks like.
Well, I'll let you know because I'm taking that. What's going on, Ashley?
Hi, everyone. I didn't want to add too much. Just wanted to add a little bit because I know, Johnny, you had said, is it related to the genre of music? And so I have to say that all of the people in the Pella Ravers group are so excited for this because it really does mirror like the EDM genre and deep house specifically. So like if you go to festivals either here in the United States or even across seas or overseas, they have something called a silent disco. So basically you have a DJ who's playing and everyone has their own set of headphones and they're just listening to the DJ play whatever he's going to play.
Right.
So it's not like an open air kind of music. It's like you're listening on your own individually. So that's what I envision it's kind of going to be like. I don't know like how much they'll call out or not, but I think it's kind of cool that they're kind of adapting something that's like known for the music and like making it an experience. So that's kind of where I think it's going, but I do also think that it's possible that they could extend it out for just those people who hate the instructors talking so much. But we'll see. And I think the vibe is going to be kind of like, I don't know if anyone's taken Anna Greenberg's Deep House Yoga.
Yeah.
She's been doing that like and collaborating with John Michael for a few months now, and those are some of my favorite classes, so I'm really excited.
Speaking of John Michael, I feel like he's been more involved lately. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, like a lot of instructors have given him a lot of shout outs about like that he's personally curated their playlist. I know Camila Ramon had one, not today, but last Saturday for like the Miami Music Festival, and it was an amazing class if no one took it, but
they've been incorporating like old I think that was Ultra Music Festival. They did like a whole series, and they've been incorporating a lot of the international festivals, and they've been doing more techno rides, like, and I mean overseas, like techno and house and all those things are like even more popular than they are here. So I think it's really cool that they're like starting to incorporate that and around these big events. And I think
actually, I would say it's Dan. I've done the silent disco, and also I was in LA at this kind of entrepreneurs event, and they had a 11 o'clock midnight silent meditation. So it was a meditation in a tent with headphones on, and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And we were listening to kind of symphony music, and when we opened our eyes, the orchestra was actually there in front of us, and we had no idea. They came in.
Wow.
This silent disco idea is really cool. I don't know if they can replicate it. I've never thought about it, but it's pretty awesome. I hadn't heard about these silent classes, so I'm not sure what they are. I'll look into it, but I'm with you on the silent disco part. It's cool.
Yeah, I think it's just a new experience. Like, I don't think it's something that I would take all the time. To everyone's point, like, you buy the bike for the instructors and for the vibe that they put out. But I think, if you're just having a day where you just want to just, vibe out and listen to some music and like have a really good curated playlist, like, I think it's a great alternative. And you're still with other people on the leaderboard.
Go ahead.
Would you take a silent Alex Toussaint ride?
Well, see, that's where I was about to go with this. So I'm wondering, isn't it?
Silent?
What's that?
Can Alex stay silent?
So that's where I was going with this. What the question I was wondering is it that the deep house, the music itself, that there's a very specific experience relative to that genre of music and silence. So that, I don't know that because I don't know that music very well. So or is it just the idea of music is playing and there's no instructor talking? Is that right? Like, I don't know that if there's some disparity between the two. So that's why I'm going to take the class to figure that out. But I hear you from a perspective of just a class with just music and no talking outside of some experience relative to a specific genre. I'd be interested in that as well. Like, I mean, that's both of those things sound interesting to me.
I think it's funny though, because some instructors will be like, I'm going to stop talking and let you just vibe out to the music, and they literally stop talking for 20 seconds. And then they go back. To talking. So I don't think there's a whole lot of them that can do an actual silent class.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it's more so for like mellow music genres. Like, I could see it maybe working for an R&B ride or, something that's a little bit slower pace, and maybe it's like even more of a low impact day for you. I think it could also work for techno for sure, even though that's a faster paced genre, but I don't really see it for like a hip hop ride, for instance, or, something like that. Yeah.
That makes sense. Like, it sounds like it's very genre specific. There's something more about that than just the idea of not having an instructor talking. So yeah, I'll check it out tomorrow. I'll report back. I'm interested in it. Let me move on to the next topic. The next topic, well, the topic that this was supposed to be was the new tread boot camps with Jocelyn Thompson Rule. Now, I haven't really taken her much, but I know now she's going to be doing tread boot camps. I don't know when they start. I think they start tomorrow too, right? I think.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jocelyn's amazing. I really like her. She's a really chill type of vibe. She's pretty funny. She's a little older, and I love that she talks about her kids. Her music choices are incredible. I'm a fan, obviously, and I'm not a fan of... I'm a fan.
Well, I'm going to check it out. I know it's kind of early for you because it's early in the morning here, right? I think, but...
Yeah, it's at 6:30 Eastern, so it's 3:30 for me. That's even too rich for my blood, so I'm going to have to take it on demand. But I'm really excited for her. She's excited, too.
That's cool. I think I'll hop up, get up early tomorrow morning and check it out so I can report back on that as well. A lot of people have given me the same feedback about Jocelyn. A lot of folks say the same stuff. So I've been talking about taking her class for a while, so I think I might try this as the first one. Cool. The next topic we had on the list was, okay, so remember a month or so ago, Uncle Barry came out and said he's starting this one Peloton Club deal where we're going to have like 6 or 7, or I can't remember how many showroom locations where you can walk in and they will give you lease pricing, like basically you just pay a monthly forever, but it gives you the bike and the subscription. And I don't remember what the pricing was. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't where you're alone. There's it truly is like a leasing type deal. They rolled that out to these small subset of showrooms. All of a sudden yesterday, Chris Lewis reports that thing has expanded. He shows the link. I go and check out the link. Sure enough, they got like 33 locations doing this now. Like it feels like they're like about to expand into this whole space of you no longer have to purchase the equipment up front. But they're not allowing you to do it through the website. You can't call them and do it. But if you walk into these locations, you can. So I was just interested in you guys' thoughts on that. It seems kind of wild to me. Go ahead, Chris.
One minor point on that, you actually can call your showroom and they can check your zip code, and I believe, I'm not sure if you can do it, but they did recommend, because I talked to the people at the Atlanta showroom and they're the ones who actually told me it had just launched there the day before.
Yeah.
So they were saying, oh yeah, please call us about this.
Wow. Leasing the bike so that you don't have to pay the $1,500 or $2,000 for it up front, and you just start in with like a monthly. Like I'm assuming it must be going well if they got like 33 locations doing it after a month of trying out, that small subset, right? But I wasn't thinking that was going to do all that well, but.
One other thing they're trying now, when it first launched last month, it was for the bike only. They've now opened it up to the Bike Plus as well in some of those markets. So they're not expanding the locations and products as well. Got
it. Would anybody here have done that had they had that option in the beginning? So that's the first question. And I guess the second one is probably for you, Chris. Are you thinking, like, let's say you do this, like, I'm calling it a lease. I know they're not calling it lease, but that's the best way I can describe it. But I'm assuming you get a bike. You're on this plan that's like a lease. A new type of bike comes out or a new screen. Like, I'm assuming you just get upgraded. I don't know that.
I'm not sure about that either. I know, like, in some markets you have that upfront fee, which in Atlanta, for example, is $250. So I'm not sure if you would get charged a new upfront fee to convert to the new product or not. I'm not sure.
Got it. Okay. Would anybody have done that had they had the option?
Hey, John, this is Sheldon. I think, I as you know, I went the echelon route because I didn't want to spend that much money on a bike.
Right.
I definitely would have tried it. I would have said, no risk. I can send it back. Try it for 3 months. I don't like it. I would have done it for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, John, I have a question. So how does it actually work? Like, you just pay forever, or at some point you own the bike like a firm or any other financing? Because to me, like, Apple has been talking about the same style of business moving forward, right? Mm-hmm. And my thinking is, okay, Apple comes out with a new phone or a new iPad or whatever every year. But the bike, I mean, the OG bike, it's been there forever. So if I'm just paying forever, aren't I losing in the end if I never end up owning this bike, if there's not enough bikes that come out that are actually quote-unquote upgradable?
Yeah, so here's the way I understood it, and correct me here if I'm wrong, Chris. The way I understood it is, yes, you're just paying forever, but that there were options to buy. And they gave like these ranges of monthlies, which made me think something in that range, depending on where you chose, gives you some option at some point. Like, but that's all a guess. I don't know.
So in Atlanta, at least, there's only one option. So if you want to buy anytime before the first year, you'd have to pay the full MSRP. Once you've been doing the lease for 12 months, at 12 months, you can do a buyout. And in Atlanta, it's about $1,000 for the OG bike and $1,300 for the Bike Plus.
Wow. There it is. So yeah, Marcos, it looks like at a year, post-year, then yeah, you could just buy out if you wanted to. Otherwise, you just keep paying forever, yeah.
That would have been a total game changer like 2 years ago for a lot of people, I think, 3 years ago.
I think you're right.
My question is, if they're rolling this out now, when they come out with the rower, are they going to launch this with the rower, and how many people might try the rower who might not otherwise?
Wow. Wow. That is a good question. You're right. I think that it will get a whole bunch of people into the rower.
But don't you think that people, most of your rower customers are already going to have the bike in the membership, and they would just do like an affirm loan payment to get the rower, or no?
Not if you want to see how their content is and just, maybe just see how that discipline works, if they're rolling out enough content for you and stuff.
No risk, right?
You have a 30-day return policy on those typically, right?
Oh, good point.
Whatever. You're right.
Good point.
I don't know.
That's a good point. Yeah, you could get that with the 30-day as well. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. We'll see how that plays. I'm really interested in it. But, yeah, I agree with you, though, Sheldon, that had people had that option years ago. You know what also about this kind of throws me a little bit? I know that, we talk about subs all the time, subscribers all the time. But I know that Peloton is making a ton of revenue on selling this hardware. This kind of moves more away from that. Like, I don't know how this hits them in their earnings calls, right? If a whole bunch of people start going this route, right? Like,
yeah, it's deferred earnings.
Right.
It would be an interesting finance exercise to see how they have to do this. Because, again, it couldn't be better. Because if you think about it, if they pay in perpetuity, they may end up making a lot more on the bike in the long run. It might be some short-term revenue fall, but I'm not sure. It's going to be an interesting accounting exercise, I think, that they're going to have to explain.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm interested in that one to see how that all pans out. But Uncle Barry is clearly pushing this forward. Like, I mean, it is moving. So we'll see how that plays out. Anyway, next topic. Let's see. Let me move past some of these. I want to ask you guys some questions about Tunde. So I'm going to skip past a couple. I know Tunde was in Baltimore last week or the week before. I didn't see a whole lot of advertising about it. Just all of a sudden, Tunde had been at some talking engagement, about her book in Baltimore. And then I saw an advertisement 2 days ago or yesterday about Tunde's now going to be doing an engagement in LA and another one in New York. Tickets started going on sale, I think, for the New York ones yesterday at 10 a.m. I don't know if the LA ones may have already been on sale. So she's like making the rounds. She's on the book tour. You know what I mean? Me and Jasmine will be at the one in NYC, so I don't know if any of you guys are intending to go to that, but if you are, we'll catch you there. But anyone else check that out? Anybody intending to go? Anybody interested? What's up? I know Jessica Minardi, I know you're going to the LA one.
John, when is the New York one?
The New York one is on May 5th. LA on May 8th.
I'm not going. I was going to say, but I know Steph is going to New York.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll catch Steph there. Charlotte, you said you're going to the one in LA?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
John, you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo with Tunde.
Yeah, I'm doing the Cinco de Mayo celebration with Tunde in NYC. That's right. Exactly. So, okay.
Yeah, I'm going to the one in New York on the 5th.
Okay, so I'll catch you there, Anisha. That'll work. Yeah, it sounds like, when I saw the Baltimore one, it looked like she had a pretty good turnout there. There's a whole bunch of people there. And so I'm like really... Go ahead, Chris.
Sorry, John. She mentioned there's other dates coming too, so I'm hoping maybe one will be down by Atlanta or somewhere, and I'll catch her there if she has one closer.
Oh, she did say that? Okay, that's good. There's been people asking.
She said sign up for a newsletter to be the first to be notified about additional dates as they're being added.
Okay, that's good. That's good to know. I've gotten a few questions, people asking about, is she going to be in Chicago? Is she going to be here? Okay, so that she's going to be doing some other dates. That'll be nice. I'm really interested in it. Just, I'm really community focused. I like talking to the community and all of us kind of help push each other and keep ourselves motivated. So as much as I'm, excited to, see Tunde, I'm actually excited to see the people that are going to be attending as well. So should be fun. If any of you guys are going to the one in New York City, I will see you there. What do we got left?
While we're on that topic right quick,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I love how Peloton instructors expand their brand and are about their money.
Right.
Because I really sit back and I'm like, is there any? Because like, I think about Beachbody instructors. Okay, I saw a couple of them out there, maybe a couple of Soul Cycle people who I know got popular, but the way the Peloton instructors just hit so many avenues of revenue and really use Peloton as that stepping stone of getting into other stuff and really expanding their brand. Bravo.
Well, you know, that is a... Oh, go ahead, Kari. What's going on?
Hey. I heard Rower earlier. I had to jump up. Actually, to touch on that, I believe that Peloton is more than likely helping or encouraging, and I don't know, maybe some of these instructors have agents that also help them get into other avenues, but it would be beneficial for Peloton to allow them to get into other avenues or areas of business for them to grow.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. It probably does benefit them. It aligns to like this next topic I was going to talk about, and that is, you know, every quarter I do this analysis of social media followers by Connected Fitness company. And I only do that because, you know, some of them are public, some of them are private, and the private ones don't report their numbers, and you can't tell how well they're doing. And so then I just use this as like an unscientific way of seeing like how well they're doing. And I know it doesn't necessarily align to sales. I see it as kind of just aligning to, you know, how involved your community is in your product. And since Peloton's success to me has been largely aligned to how engaged the community has been, I kind of assumed other Connected Fitness companies, if they could get that type of social engagement, they would have a similar level of success. So they're kind of striving for that. So anyways, this quarter it showed like Soul Cycle for like the third quarter in a row. They lost followers on Instagram, and Beachbody lost followers on Instagram. But of course, Peloton is at the top in gaining followers to their Instagram account, and so they still have this like something about the social aspect of Peloton. People just keep like coming in and following these instructors and the brand. Right.
John, was Hydro and Mirror on those?
Yeah. I had both of those are on the list. They both grew. I don't remember the numbers. I'll have to pull it up again. But both of them are on the list I do every quarter. Yeah. And so I rank them. They're all ranked by the number of IG followers. It's in the group. So if you're in the Run, Lift, and Live group, you go in there and just and search for it. It's in there. But every quarter, Peloton's at the top of that list, which to me kind of speaks to something about that whole magic, something they captured from a social engagement perspective, which I think rolls into the reason why these instructors are able to do all these things outside of Peloton, right? Because there's some type of celebrity or magic that just kind of evolved from Peloton that just doesn't seem to happen as well with the others, you know? Anyway, I know we only got a few minutes left, and there's one topic that I wanted to hit before we end, so I'm going to jump on it now. So I was listening to the Tunde's Fitness Flipped, and she had like a social psychologist on there. I can't remember the woman's name, but they were focusing on making fitness fun, not focusing on frustration, not focusing on others, like that common kind of context that you hear. I hear that a lot. Then I was checking out Peloton's blog, and on the blog they had a post there where they spoke to this doctor, and the doctor was I can't remember her name, but she's on that Peloton Health and Wellness Advisory Council. And she was saying the same thing. It's like, ignore the leaderboard, don't worry about the leaderboard. You should be focusing on what, you're doing. You should be comparing yourself to yourself. It was like a similar message. It was like the blog post and Tunde's Fitness Flipped kind of just aligned perfectly. My mind started going to, okay, yeah, that's what I do. Like, I got you. I'm right with you. I mean, I had to start doing that. I was about to kill myself trying to chase all these people on this leaderboard. But then I started thinking, isn't that kind of somewhat of is that a little bit of a contradiction to what they're selling with the leaderboard in and of itself? Right? I assume the leaderboard is there so that you can use your fellow riders as motivation to push. So you're challenging against all these other people. But now I got these two distinct messages from Peloton saying, forget all that.
You're 100% right, John. I've had this problem with every fitness equipment I've used with the whole thing, because it is there to compete,
right?
That by nature, right? I mean, yeah, you can swipe it away, and yes, it's there for social reasons as well. But if you really mean what you say, you wouldn't have like numbers there, because we're competitive by nature, and I think people are just going to gravitate to it as a default. I'm saying a lot of people swipe it away,
right?
But if you want to, it's there for that reason.
Hey Nicole, I see you in the chat. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think all the bikes are so different. Like it doesn't have a lot of relevance anyway. So I'm right with you there, Nicole. But I just want
to chime in and say that
if
you don't have a Bike Plus, they're absolutely different. Because
right.
I think I've told this story before. I rode a bike at a hotel, smashed my PR by like 100 or something crazy.
Right.
Came home, called Peloton, was like, listen, this is not matching the bike I just rode. Something's wrong with my bike. They came out. The dude was like, your bike is in perfect condition. Your calibration is spot on. And I think, but I rode at a hotel and my PR was so much better. And he was like, hotel Pelotons are notoriously not up to date. Like, they're not calibrated. They're not taken care of.
Right.
So you cannot go by those numbers. So I always tell people who are starting out, if you don't have a Bike Plus, if you have the original bike, don't even worry about the numbers, because they are not necessarily accurate to compare apples to apples. Like, compare yourself to yourself on your bike in your situation, but don't look at John Smith on a bike and compare yourself to him, because you don't know what his situation is.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with that. I guess my and that's, some of us kind of came to that conclusion over years. Like, me, I came in 2016 just trying to beat everybody, that was anywhere near me. And then I almost killed myself. And then I was like, I need to stop this. I'm injured like every month. So that kind of came to an end out of necessity. But my point is, it's like if you have that feature, but then you're talking against the feature, like, it just sounds like a contradiction, right? Like, right? But I get it. Like, yeah, we probably shouldn't be, running to that. But you have a leaderboard. Aren't people just going to innately do that? It's a leaderboard, right?
Yeah, I think it's a distraction for sure. Like, because you want to know that you're riding the same as someone else, and you want to know that you can actually compare your numbers. So when you realize that you really can't, it's like, what the hell is the point of the leaderboard? Like,
agreed.
Yeah, I turned mine
off. I turned mine off because what Danielle was saying. Like, at first I was like, oh yeah, let me see how good I can be. And I'm like, damn, I just started. Somebody's like at 100. I'm like at 10. I'm like, what is going on? I just turned it off. I can never,
Right.
I'm like, either my bike is broken or I'm just terrible. So I just swipe it away.
So Peloton has a software that has a leaderboard, and they've got two different outlets telling us to turn it off. That's my point. Like, it just sounds odd.
John, I think that, I feel like it's sort of like everything else with Peloton, right? Like, you can use it or not use it. For some people, it's motivating. For some people, it's not. But what I liked about that episode was actually the second part of it, with Emma talking about comparison. Like, some of the comparisons, that she talked about, like in some of the questions Tunde asked her,
yeah.
I kind of thought, not for me. But I do think that there's something to be said about really having a conversation with yourself or with a professional about
using things in a healthy way. And that was sort of my takeaway from it. It's like, I look at the leaderboard, but I know that I'm never going to catch any of these people, not simply because my bike is different, but because my fitness level is different.
Right.
My goals for why I'm on this ride today is not matching the stranger that I'm either right in front of or right behind.
Right.
So I want to hear more of that sort of conversation coming from Peloton around, like, we can have all the things, and how do you, like, in a very healthy way, navigate to the things that you want to use and need in a healthy way.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know, I know they focus a lot on the running classes. I don't take as many bike classes anymore, but, you know, if you've ever trained for anything, you know that, like, 100% of your workouts should not be at 100% of your effort level. Like, that's not the way to train for anything effectively. That's not the way to get faster or to build your endurance. A certain amount of it needs to kind of be at, you know, a 60 to 70% of your max heart rate in an endurance aerobic zone. And then that other 20% is where you're supposed to be really pushing all out. And I know in the running classes, they really make a point to kind of focus that, and they have endurance-based classes, recovery-based classes. I don't see it as much on the bike, but you know, for that reason, it's like, you know, you got to put your ego aside and just hide the leaderboard and remember, like, you know, what is the goal? Like, why are you there? Like, what are you training for? And, you know, that should be the first and foremost goal that you're trying to achieve.
And sometimes it's not even training. Like, sometimes you're just hopping on a ride. Like, I just want to hear Cody talk shit.
Right.
So I hopped on his ride last night just because, not because I was going to do anything. And I think that I would love to see there be some sort of balance around using all of the tools.
Yeah. I like the way that you described that, Megan, about just, you know, talking to balance and consideration around using those tools. I like that. That actually is helpful. And, you know, it's something that, you know, again, I think a lot of us kind of just learned to do that over time. I don't know if, like, that person who's just kind of jumping into Peloton and becomes enamored with it and fanatical, they may or may not be there. But I liked the conversation that Emma had with Tunde, as well as the blog post, for that reason. I like that it kind of encourages people to, like, reconsider how you're kind of using those tools. So yeah, I was with all that. I just thought at its root, it seemed like you're talking against your capabilities a little bit. But I like it.
I'll totally agree with you on that. I'll say, when I first got my bike and saw the leaderboard, I was like, yes, I want to be at the top of the leaderboard. And then I was like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, the numbers people were cranking out and everything, and I really thought about it, was what was it that always stopped me from following through with fitness? And it was when I no longer enjoyed it, when it became a chore to me.
Right.
And to me, climbing up the leaderboard felt more like a chore. So
right.
It became, I'm going to take this leaderboard, I'm going to get it down to the people I follow, and then just enjoy riding with these 50, 100 people, however many show up. Now, do I aim to try to be in the top 50%? Like, if 50 people are riding, my goal is I want to be 25 and up. That's what I set for myself.
Yep.
Because I can't do it. I want to enjoy it. I want to be able to walk.
Right.
Do you all race the people right around you, though? Do you have, like, little mini competitions?
Yes, I do. Like, the people that are around me, you know, we high-five each other as we're passing by, and then I'm like, oh, I got to take her down now. You know, like, look, but I feel like they're within my fitness level. I'm not messing with those people who crank it up to a 90 resistance because, you know, they got these Hulk legs or whatever, and riding the whole class like that. That's not enjoyable to me. I mean, I do a death by tens because I'm like, okay, that's my type of, okay, let me really push myself, or a longer Tabata class is a way I push myself. But doing that in a normal class, no.
Nisi,
just like the other woman said, sometimes I just want to get on and kiki with Cody and call it a damn day.
Nisi, you say in the chat, leave your Hulk legs alone. They talking about you? That's funny. You know, go ahead.
I think all of this is good discussion. to tie kind of to what Tammy was saying earlier about, it sounded like it was almost like personalization with what you're doing, like when it comes to how well you ride on your bike and
right.
you want to compete against yourself. I heard a podcast, the clip out recently. Lisa and I were listening to it on the way to Florida last week, and one of the things that really stood out to me was how much he focused on creating a product that allowed personalization for workouts and being able to get that type of individualized or personalized focus when it comes to your training.
Yep.
And I feel like with the guide, some of the things that they're doing in strength classes, they could potentially be going in that direction. And of course, you can, shake your things with Cody too, but outside of that, but still, there's all sorts of things that it looks like Peloton's looking to bring back or to incorporate into the strength training or even bike riding or tread classes.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think they are. And one thing I just wanted to add before I forget is that I agree with you, Megan, also with regards to what Tunde and what the social psychologist was saying around fun. And it was something that I had said for a long time. And there were times that people used to argue with me about that. I would say I would rather compromise my workout than to make it not fun. So if I got to change it to make it fun, but now I will do it routinely, then I will do that compromise. I used to say that, and I would get challenges to that. When I listen to these folks, it sounds like they're saying that same thing in my mind. Right? I don't know if they're, verbatim kind of intending it to be the same thing, but it sounds the same to me.
For sure. And I also like that for the person who's like, I want to be at the top of that leaderboard and I'm going to ride on 100 all the way. Like, do it. Like, I think that whatever it is that you need and you want for your workout, like, it's there for you. So I just want to hear more conversation around the balance of it. But I think there's something there for everybody to do what they want.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Cool.
I have to agree with John, too. Once it becomes non-fun, there's no point in it.
There's no point.
I know a lot of people who sit at 100 resistance and just crank it out at like 50 cadence or whatever. And to me, that's not fun. I'm amazed that you can do it. I'm not taking away from your athletic ability because that's incredible. But that would just be so boring to me. So I like to I try and stay in the range. And some days I'll tell my girls, I'm like, you know what? I wasn't feeling Robin today. Robin was calling out some crazy shit, and I just wasn't there for it. So I'm gonna chill at what's my comfortable pace and zone, and I'm gonna hang there for the class and just do what I want to do. So I totally agree. Once it's not fun for me anymore, then I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
Nisi said that's why R&B runs are fun. That's what she said.
Nothing about an R&B run is fun. I'm sorry. It's just not. There's nothing. An R&B walk, absolutely. An R&B run, no. They don't go together. They don't belong in the same sentence. Come at me. Whoever said it.
New edition,
all right,
maybe.
Settle down.
New edition, John.
The new edition. The new edition artist series walk or run. Oh, see, now don't get me excited.
Nobody is running to New Edition. You can walk to New Edition. Nobody is running to New. Is that just minority?
Somebody get her the rower already. Because you know what? Just she needs the rower.
Now I need the New Edition ride like stat. I need that stat. Now that you brought that up. Facts. Mad facts. I'm petitioning for the New Edition ride.
We have over 1,100 comments in the chat. I think that is an all-time record.
Yeah, I think that's a record.
That is definitely a record.
Yeah,
you guys are on fire. And I love all of you.
And everyone in there who's for the R&B runs and R&B
Danielle, enough. We heard you the first time.
Tammy, kick her out, Tammy.
I can't. I already made her a moderator. Next time I know.
Already. Over 3 minutes. Kick her out.
She can't get rid of me. She cannot get rid of me.
So I saw Janetta's story talking about the Tunde podcast with Emma as well. And I know Janetta was all heavy, same as me, about that concept about focusing on fun, less on the leaderboard, less on other people. And again, I think it's a common kind of talking point. I was just wondering, Peloton kind of coming at it, two different outlets based on their capabilities, it seemed kind of odd, but I am right with it. I think I'm right with it. I'm agreeing with you as Janetta. I love what you're saying about it, Megan, about kind of balance relative to it. I'm glad they're speaking in those terms now. I know they kind of talked about it in the past, but I like to hear those more in-depth kind of conversations about it. Go ahead, Janetta.
So John, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I just think that people are taking it too seriously. The leader.
Yeah, I agree. They get real deep into
and
that.
They're watching all those people number and shit. It's like you were saying, every bike is different. So don't be watching anybody because every bike is different. Just stay on your lane. Stay with your group. I usually ride a bike or run with the people I follow.
Right.
I just follow them, and I stay with my program. Whatever I'm running for or biking for, I just stay with my shit. And
right.
I play with people around, and I push them, and then I slow down.
Right.
I just want them to go. I don't take it seriously. I make a lot of jokes, and I try to have a lot of fun because I want to keep going. When it becomes like this nasty competition that everybody's like, oh my gosh, she did 200. Oh my gosh, she did. Then it's not fun. Just stay on your lane. I mean, do your own shit.
Right.
No, Yanero brings up a good point. She's all about encouragement.
Right.
That's really what it's about. Like encouraging everybody around you to do better.
Yep.
And that's really what she's talking about. And I've seen her do it.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
All these connected fitness companies painted themselves in the corner with the output metric. It's a BS metric.
Yes.
I mean, it's kilojoules,
yep.
which is totally dependent on the size of the person.
Right.
I mean, sure, your legs being stronger, but the weight of the rider makes so much difference in how much output you can put out. It's a BS metric, and so if they want to make it truly a comparable metric, you have to go kilojoules per kilogram.
Right.
And but it's so they painted themselves in the corner. So now they have obviously. I think once people start to realize that, they can then change the tone of the conversation by saying, "Look, focus on your gains and your." It's more valuable for that 100%. So I think it makes total sense that they're changing the tone of the way that metric is used.
And I assume that Echelon folks have gone through the same. You tell me, Sheldon. I don't know if they have or not. I'm kind of guessing.
Totally have. Absolutely. It's the phrase that I use a lot with people that are new and don't understand and are discouraged. It's like I just say, output is an illusion.
Right.
It is not a metric you can use realistically to compare yourself to the general population.
Right.
Use it as a tool for your own growth.
Right.
If you want to do it for anything, that's about it.
Right.
And so, most people listen to it. And I think, we still love the little mini competitions we have with each other. That's why I asked the question, but it's the same curve. Yeah, everyone's, and you have broken bikes that are spitting out crazy numbers and the same thing.
Right. Go ahead, Charlotte.
I think without the leaderboard, though, and without the numbers, people would be even more disappointed. So even though while those of us who've been writing, who understand it, know that you can really kind of throw the leaderboard out because it doesn't really mean anything unless you're, I guess, technically all on a Bike Plus. I guess because those are supposed to be calibrated correctly versus those of us on the original bike. I think without the leaderboard, people are kind of disappointed because even though they want to see those numbers, they want to see how they stack up against someone else who took the ride. So
even if it is an illusion, I hear you. Even if it is an illusion, they want to see it, and which kind of gets back to Megan's point. I think it probably makes sense. I was challenging it, but it probably makes sense for these capabilities to be there, but there to be some level of clarity on what it is and balance on how and when you use it. So I think that all makes sense. That makes sense. What's going on, Charlotte?
I just wanted to add, that's why I kind of lean towards Power Zone.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I found Power Zone. I was trying to not really compete with anyone. I'm almost 60. So most of the people I'm older than anyway on the board. But I'm a certified spin instructor too. So it was kind of like an ego thing. But it wasn't fun when I was trying to PR every time.
Yeah.
It became work, and I hated it. I really did. I gravitated towards tread workouts because of that. And I would, every now and then ride. But Power Zone really changed the game for me because basically it's you against you. And, I know, and I put in the chat, I know people who have recalibrated their bikes and their output doubled.
Right.
So, I mean, that's meaningless. And the coaching you get in Power Zone, where they tell you, that all that heavy resistance isn't good for you anyway. You really need to have some balance, with cadence and resistance anyway. So, and that really changed the game of my overall fitness.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, you spoke to something that Sheldon talked about, and I was referring to as well, as I feel like there's just this common evolution of like the connected fitness indoor cyclists. Like they come in and you see the leaderboard and you're like gunning, and then some time passed and you come to this kind of a realization that we're talking about, and eventually you kind of migrate away from all of the overexertion and over competition, and you eventually get to a place of just focus on self. Like, I've seen that evolution so many times, it makes me think it's just a common thing across platforms in whatever connected fitness bike you have and in whatever forum you're in. Like, that's what it seems like. And it seems like you said something similar, Charlotte. It sounds like you spoke to something similar.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just want to chime in and say that, like, don't let anyone else get in your head and define who you are. You know what I mean? Like, I will never be at the top of the leaderboard. I will never be running with a Just Minardi or Yanira or Ebony. Like, I'm never going to be up there. But what I will say is that I have endurance, and I will continually put up, and I will continually work. So for me, maybe work is a 15-minute mile. Maybe it's a 14-minute mile. Like, who knows? It depends on the day. But don't let someone else define you as an athlete. And I feel like so many people get stuck in this mindset of, like, I'm not as fast as Yanira. Well, you know what? Yanira is fast as shit. Like, I tracked her during her half marathon. I was like, damn, she's done already.
Right?
So right? Like, it's crazy. But, like, don't let that stop you from defining yourself as an athlete. Like, you are doing the work, and you are showing up, and you are putting in the hours and the mileage and the time. I don't care if you're running an 8-minute mile or a 20-minute mile. You are showing up and doing the work. So don't let some quote-unquote thought of whether or not you are a runner define you as a runner or define your ability as an athlete.
Well, you know what? All I'm gonna say is, I'm getting so lean and thin now that I'm about ready to start competing against Janetta and Ebony, because I think I might be able to just float past them.
Skinny jeans time.
Okay, let's face it. There's something in the rice and beans.
It is the rice and beans. It is the rice and beans.
It's the perfect blend of complex carbs and protein.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit, no. Hey, listen, thank you, Danielle, but you are totally right. And today when I was talking about Tunde's podcast, that I took it as a run outside, everybody should take it. It's because they're talking about comparison. Like, Danielle is admiring the fact that we run faster than she does, but she doesn't put herself down. She still knows that she's good where she's at.
Right.
Like, I know what I'm good at, where I am, but I know there's a bunch of people out there. I see it on the leaderboard that they run a lot faster than us.
Yeah.
And I admire them, and I don't put myself down.
Right.
Because somebody else is better than me. And that's what I was talking about, the podcast, because people look at one picture on Instagram, but they think that their life is perfect when they don't know the other 99% of those people's life.
Right.
And they're not perfect, because we only show the good moments, the good times. Well, not me. I kind of show everything, but anyway, let's not go there. Okay, keep going.
You know what? This is all off topic, but when the stars go out on IG and start telling everybody, everybody's life isn't like, this is like their highlight reel. You can't try to apply your life. It's supposed to be like this. When you see this, that always a little bit annoys me. Like, I'm an adult. I know that. Like, You know, I don't know. Is it just me? I always go, listen, I figured that out a long time ago. Maybe it's just me. Like, I feel like they're telling me something I already know. Like, what are you telling me that for? I already know that. Your life can't be like that.
It's not just you, John, but but again, I think where we are in our journey versus other people where they are in theirs.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I think, a lot of people are still in the bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, early stages of their connected fitness journey, and maybe they need to hear that.
That's a good point.
To us, it's just an echo chamber.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense. That adds up. I'm with you. Anyway, I see you guys in the chat. Y'all heard what I said. I'm coming for Janetta and Ebony. I'm about to lose so much weight, I'm going to be able to just float past them.
Hey, John, now
Are you just going to watch the class, John, or are you actually going to... let's just call it what it is.
Listen, I'm with John. I'm going to take a class from my car, so this way I can keep up with Yanira and Ebony.
Okay.
I'm going to ride in my car and start the class.
What were you saying, Marcos?
Now that you're so skinny, what are you doing with all your cut-off hoodies? They're definitely not fitting.
You know what? I almost wore my custom Jess Sims hoodie to do this recording. That thing don't fit right now no more. That thing's kind of hanging off me. I can't even really wear it right now. So you're right. Some of them I can't wear the same anymore.
Erica's pissed all that money you wasted.
You can put that shit on eBay. I think you'll get a lot of money. Like a John Mills special. Like a authentic. You could sign it. You could put it on eBay.
Yeah, right.
And I was going to say, I guess Erica will be bringing you a whole lot of sugar in those grits. If she's irritated about your clothes not fitting.
Okay, first
it's probably equal or some shit. There's no way he's losing all that weight putting sugar in his grits. It's got to be Sweet and Low equal Splenda. I don't care what something.
I literally...
Erica switching back to full sugar.
I literally...
Through this, you didn't cut all these sleeves off. Waste of money. Let me bring you some full sugar.
I literally went and bought another shirt today just so I can record this because the stuff I kept pulling out just wasn't fitting right. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm coming for Janetta and Ebony on the tread now. I'm about to be able to just float.
We'll see what your back has to say about that. We have to remember we are of elder age.
Yeah. We'll see what my back and my knees have to say about that. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
I just need Erica to come move in with me and put me on a diet. I need to lose 15 pounds in a week or whatever it is that you did.
You know, Erica don't be playing.
Rent Erica out? Like, can we put her on the Peloton leash program?
Yeah, I don't need a guide. I need Erica Mills in my house Monday morning.
Erica don't be playing.
I will pick you up. I will send an Uber. You can pack some meals in the fridge for John. He'll be okay. Jess can check on him. But Erica, Monday morning, please be in Long Island.
Erica's like, I don't know if any of you guys my mother was like this. Like, she didn't really like, my dad was the dude, he did the punishment. My mom didn't really do the punishing thing. It was more like the guilt. It was like, I never would have expected you to do that, John. It was more like the guilt. That's Erica's style. It's like, are you really going to eat that? That's Erica's style. I'm like, I guess I'm not. No, I'm not going to eat that. It's been working so far.
Well, and then I think we found the next big thing. It'll be Body by Erica, like the next Peloton exclusive.
There it is.
I was just going to say, somebody better block Uncle Barry. Because next thing you know, Erica will be on a payroll.
You better patent whatever's going on in that house. Copyright it, file something.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. All I know is working. She's been a godsend because I was depressed 6 months ago. I literally was. I wasn't saying anything to anybody, but I literally was. I was in a rut. A lot of stuff had happened last year, and then, the pandemic along with a lot of other things. And I just had gained so much weight, and I just was like upset constantly. And Erica to the rescue. So, what she's done for over 3 decades, so it ain't nothing new, but she came and saved me. Anyway, I think we've come up on that time. I said I was going to cut it to 9, but we still went to 9:23.
That's still better. I mean,
we can't end yet because
no rower.
No rower. But all 3 of us took classes
No, I didn't. I totally left you two alone.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I did. I took a 10-minute Kendall class.
Okay. So we took classes that we don't normally take, and we said we would talk about them. So just really quick, everybody run down what you took and your thoughts on it, so other people can recommend, either take it in the future or something like that. But we did.
All right, I can be quick. My review is quick. I took a 10-minute shadow boxing with Kendall because I figured I would try boxing. And if you've never boxed before, go back to the basics because I was totally lost. I had no idea what I was doing. I think if I knew the basics, it would have been a quick, efficient, 10-minute killer arm, shoulder, cardio workout, but I wasn't prepared for it. But if you do have a boxing background or you have done the boxing basics, I think the 10-minute Kendall shadow boxing is a great option, short on time.
Cool. I did the 2-for-1 with Robin and Kirsten. You guys were telling me how great it was and all, and I hadn't been running for a while because of my back and knees, and the weight was giving me a problem. Now that I had gotten it all off, this was kind of my introduction back. I did really, really well. But the class was awesome. I loved the class. I loved their energy. I loved the playlist. Everything about it, I loved. I would do it again. So I'm with y'all. I think you guys gave a very good review about that class last week. Anybody haven't taken that 2-for-1 with Robin and Kirsten, you should check that out.
And I ended up doing the boxing boot camp. I did RAD for 30 minutes. It was upper body. It was really good. I highly recommend it. As a matter of fact, when I was done, I messaged my girls and I was like, I think this may be my new favorite modality of classes. Like, it was that good. Like, he had the perfect mix of music and moves. And like, if you follow me on Instagram, I actually posted a video of me taking the class. So there's snippets of me from the whole class. You don't have 30 minutes of me. No one wants to see me for 30 minutes taking a class.
I didn't see the poll in the background, though.
I did post a poll. I didn't post it in the background of the video, but I did post the poll. So I posted a poll because I talked about Kirsten.
No, I'm talking about the poll. POLE. Poll.
Oh, my God. Go away.
Poll.
The poll is there. Did you saw the poll? We're not talking about the poll.
Now I'm going to be waiting for the new Peloton poll to drop. I'm going to be waiting for that.
Oh, my God. You guys are so fired. Anyway, I love the boxing boot camp with Rad. I highly recommended it. It was a great mix, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It had a great playlist, and it was just great moves. So, 10 out of 10 recommend.
But do you need to know the basics? I would probably have to go back and take some of those intro classes first, right?
I definitely recommend taking the intro classes. I've been boxing for a really long time. I started boxing at a boxing gym prior to this. I've also worked out at UFC. I was also slated to teach boxing.
So what I'm hearing is you can kick all of our asses. I mean that's really what you're saying.
Right, basically.
All the time. She's like, yeah, I know that I don't ever want to fight you. So I definitely have some boxing background happening. So if you're not familiar with boxing, I recommend taking a few starting boxing classes before you start into the boxing boot camps. At least with Rad. I didn't try Selena, so I don't know what her class style is like, but I feel like Rad kind of jumps right into it. He does a little explanation, but he doesn't do a whole lot.
Cool. All right, cool. All right, Peloton Poll 2023. I'll get the date for you, Danielle. Cool. All right. So I think we're good. I think we're good.
I'll take Jocelyn's boot camp and report back on it next week. I volunteer to take that.
Okay. I think I'm going to take that tomorrow morning, too. I'm going to check that out. And I'm definitely checking out these Ain't Nobody Talking classes because I'm just intrigued. I might be doing those the way I do the Saturday 60s, though. But I'm going to check one of them out.
Oh, here we go.
And I will post a poll again on Instagram. If you don't, I'm a fit cookie. Clearly, hello. What else would I be? So I'll post a poll and let you pick my class again. And I will take it before next Saturday.
Don't forget option C, pole dancing.
That's right.
There will be no pole dancing. I told you I have no rhythm. There is no pole dancing in that pole. Y'all don't listen to Tammy. There's no pole dancing.
Nobody goes to strip clubs to see the strippers' rhythm. I'm just saying. That's up there. Tammy,
what?
That stripper has bad rhythm.
John, how can I remove her?
Peloton poll, May 4th, 2023. I'm giving the date.
I'm removing Tammy from the stage right now.
All right, y'all. Well, this was good. I appreciate you guys coming every week. It's always fun to talk to you guys. I think we have really good conversations. They're always good people. You guys are always so courteous and kind to everybody who's on stage talking. We always have really good conversation about topics of interest. I mean, I just think it's a lot of value, at least from me. So I hope you guys enjoy it and get some value out of it as well. If I don't see you guys on the leaderboard, I guess
from your couch when you're pretending to be on the leaderboard.
Yeah, or while I'm watching a class like I do the Saturday 60, you know, you guys might be on there, but if I don't high five you, that's because I'm probably 7 feet away watching. But anyways, if I
oh God, I'm here for both of you. If anyone wants to come on and host Clubhouse with me from here on out to I'm firing John and Tammy, please let me know.
You can't fire us. We were the OGs.
I know, I was the last one to the group, and I'm like, I'm firing y'all.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys all for coming each week and having these conversations with us. So if I don't see you guys, go ahead, Jessica.
I just wanted to say thank you so much, all three of you. I just appreciate you.
Oh, we appreciate you.
And we appreciate all of you for coming every week and writing the reviews and giving us the likes and the subscribing. That really helps us immensely, and we appreciate all of it.
Yes, please keep doing that. If you guys haven't gone and given us a review out on Apple Podcasts, that truly helps us immensely. So give us
the more reviews we get, the more Danielle will continue her pole dancing.
Hey, and maybe we can buy John some new jeans.
That's right.
Hey, Kari, I sold all my skinny jeans because of you, just so you know.
Oh, Lord. You know they're actually jeggings. They're not skinny jeans.
Kari should be happy he's even allowed on this board, and I better look on Instagram and see him completing the Curse Out Crew Challenge. Because I talked to Lisa, and she told him he needs to do it. So if I check Instagram and he hasn't done it, Kari, it's on. Just saying.
Man, I'm getting challenged by default over here. It's crazy.
We're vetoing Danielle.
It's craziness.
She'll be busy on the poll. Don't worry.
There's no business.
You guys are too much.
All right. Well, give Lisa our love, Kari, and if I don't see you guys before the Peloton poll drops at homecoming, then I'll talk to you guys, next week, I guess. All right.
Good night, everyone.
Talk to you guys later.
Bye, guys. Thank you.